Oh, you know what I love?
Sports.
Love sports.
Sports.
When it comes to Texas A&M.
Where are you getting this information?
Let me tell you.
Welcome to TexAgs.
It's here. It's time. There's always a buzz in the air when you hit this moment.
He is a guy that has gotten better and better and better. He's just got that dog in him.
We will develop men. We will graduate players, and we will win championships on the field.
I think of him as this hawk. Before long, he's going to be swooping in on those quarterbacks.
And they embody what the school is about. It's about getting into hard situations and getting ourselves out. It's about working hard. It's about doing amazing things.
And this is a real program. It's not fake. This is a real place. And if you want to be really good at football, this is a really good place to be.
You know, if I'm betting on anybody, it's the Aggies.
Look, I'm not saying it's going to be a soccer segment. It's going to be a college football segment. But never in my wildest dreams that I think this man to my left, Olin Buchanan, who I know is not like watching the World Cup, but keeping up with the World Cup and actually knowing little nuances and like big fouls and controversy and referees. And did you know that Mexico apparently had a fireworks show outside of England's hotel room the night before the game?
I heard about the Mexicans have been, whoever they're playing, either doing parties outside the hotels to keep the opponent from sleeping. It sounds like something Aggies might have done about 30 years ago.
Yeah.
Not Aggies. Aggies did that to the Longhorns. Yeah. Right out what used to be the Ramada.
What I expected to see, and I'm getting a lot of this too, is people like Derm Duck who every opportunity he has will go to an Aggie sporting event, and every opportunity he has, he'll support him, and every opportunity he has, he'll talk bad about soccer. Like flopping is the dumbest thing in soccer. Okay, sure, that's fine. And there's threads about that. But what I'm impressed by, OB, is the amount of human beings that I would say do not care, kind of care right now. Kind of.
Well, I
There's
think the fact that the United States is involved and actually doing well gets people's attention.
Yep.
The fact that people from all over the world have come to our country and saw, oh, wait, this place is amazing, and appreciate it much more than some Americans do, has just, I think there was a lot of national pride generated just because of the European and other people's reactions to the United States. And then when the United States actually won a game or two, people say, okay, I can jump on board for a couple of more weeks.
Sure. I'm being respectful when I say this, but I'm kind of going to compare it to sports at A&M that people don't necessarily follow very much, right? They like volleyball? It. Maybe volleyball, maybe women's tennis, maybe softball, maybe baseball, maybe it's basketball, whatever it may be, okay? Because I think there are some people who only care about men's basketball in the tournament, right? But when it's your team, your country, then you get a little bit more invested. Like, okay, like maybe you're not watching all the game, but you're paying attention to it. You're somewhat, what I have liked is when I was in Florida 2 weeks ago and here in College Station, people are bringing it up in natural conversation, which is foreign to me because I got into soccer when my boys were born. I wasn't into it before. I was like you. I hated it. Even though I worked in it. I was a sideline reporter for the Dynamo. I hope they didn't know that about me back then. But I didn't like it. Now I love it, right? But I'm not, it kind of reminds me of a guy you know quite well who grew up in Alief, Texas, who listened to nothing but rap music growing up and got to Texas A&M and said, no, I am not listening to country. Not going to listen to country. And if you go look at his Spotify Wrapped, that buddy might be the leader, but Cody Johnson is right on his heels.
Well, we all grow up and mature.
Like you, like in soccer.
It's funny because, like I said, my mother-in-law is staying with us now. She's from the United States, but with Mexico heritage. Her mother was actually from Mexico. It's as I think we all can acknowledge, it's a more popular sport in Mexico than it is here, and people with this Mexican descent are probably, anyway, point is, they've got the games on at our house on the Spanish channel. My wife, my son's kind of into it. I guess maybe a younger generation is coming that's more into it. So I have found myself like when the American score was 1-1. Hell, I can't even remember who they were playing.
All these games are in my head
and
too.
I came out. I mean, they played Paraguay and Australia, right? And then their game was against somebody else. I've already forgotten who it was. But anyway, Croatia?
Yeah, no. Portugal played Croatia.
Anyway, so I watched the last 20 minutes and saw this amazing. I mean, even somebody that doesn't care about soccer could appreciate Bosnia.
I don't know why I forgot
and Herzegovina. And
which one do you like better?
Bosnia.
You're more of a Bosnia guy?
Well, it's shorter. Anyway, the free kick that sealed
Oh,
it.
yes.
It was an amazing kick. Just got it right over the wall.
Malik Tillman.
Yeah, Malik Tillman. Be a household name in the Tillman household. But it was an amazing shot. And then there was nothing on TV yesterday. And
did you watch Holland and Norway?
No, I watched Norway play Brazil.
Yeah, Holland is their main player who scored those 2 goals.
Oh, I thought you were thinking they were playing the Netherlands.
No. Erling Holland, whatever you want to call it.
But anyway, the kick that the guy had that went between the defender's legs and then into the corner to beat the goalkeeper. I mean, that was anybody that appreciates athleticism can look at that and say, okay, that was amazing.
Yeah.
Those things I can say, yeah, that's great. What I can't get into is, the 90 minutes of jumping up and trying to hit something with your head, nobody scoring and things like that.
Yeah.
How tedious. It's kind of like the one NHL game I ever saw in person.
Yeah.
It was the St. Louis Blues and Nashville Predators. And we sat through 3 periods and an overtime period, and the score was 0-0 and not one fight.
Yeah.
So I don't want to watch hockey either.
What surprises me, though, because I said that very loud, The Godfather's kind of slow, right? Like you've got to like keep up with the draw. It's not like action.
There's a horse head in a bed within 15 minutes?
Yes, a head and a header, same thing. Horse's head, goal.
And an old man going but and a bunch of old no, look, I think to be honest, and I think a lot of people I would bet are like me in that they kind of actually got more interested in the event.
Yeah.
Because of the visitors.
Oh, you think? I think this is in our backyard.
Well, that has but that's the visitors came here. And when I think you're just a regular guy that's never really been into soccer, and I'm not talking about guys like you, I'm talking about more guys like me, and you see a bunch of Norwegians, let's face it, most of them, Norwegians, Swede, Finns, they're all the same.
Thing.
And you see a bunch of Norwegians doing the Viking roll in a mall, and everybody's just stopping and watching, or a bunch of Scots, I read that, or I heard that they drank so much beer in Boston that Boston ran out of beer. And you think, okay, that's a joke, and then you find out it really did happen.
I didn't know that. Yeah.
Yeah, and so then you say, okay, well, if these people are this much into it, I'll give a look to what they're, or I'll start rooting for Scotland. And they're playing well. I'll check and see how they did.
Yeah.
I haven't watched a World Cup game or any soccer game from start to finish. In fact, back in the day when I used to, sometimes I had to cover soccer.
Yep.
I'd take a book.
Yeah, you've told me that. But I guess what I find interesting is how we have to, number 2 on soccer, that's what Americans have to do. Like, I feel like, I don't like gymnastics. I have friends that love gymnastics, okay? I don't like it, but I don't 2 on it. Like, I just like, and I can appreciate the greatness of the spectacle. See, I don't get into the what do you call it, the Winter Olympics? I don't get into it. It's not my thing.
See, I hear people, the soccer people, like soccer fans in the United States, like there's this guy who was a dipstick that I worked with up in Nashville, and he would say, well, you're just not intelligent enough to get it. I'm like, I'm not intelligent enough to get it. Like, I mean, that you got to kick the ball in the goal.
You're just not into it. That's what I think it is.
But what I'm saying is, when you get that, or here's why I really hated soccer. Since I was like 24, every World Cup, I had an editor, not a sports editor, an editor in news says, "Hey, soccer's going to be it's going to take over the United States. Go to a bar and find somebody and write this story about how soccer's taking over the United States." Well, you know what? I was 24 then. I'm 64 now, and it still hadn't taken over. Now, has this been a great experience? Yeah, it has. And I hope the United States beat Belgium tonight, right?
I don't know if I agree with this Fox Sports article. I don't know if I agree with it.
Okay.
They are the broadcast partners of the World Cup. Soccer ranks as the third most popular sport in the United States, with 10% of Americans identifying as their absolute favorite. It has surpassed baseball in overall fan preference. I don't know those people. I do, but I don't hang out with a bunch of Bosnians in the United States.
Who are you talking to?
Well,
right? It's like on all those political polls, and they say, "Oh, this guy's winning," or "This lady's winning," and yet they've never called me. You know, and then a lot of times the guy they say is losing wins in a landslide. So look, if I wanted to do a
NBA Finals average, television average, 20.6 million people. U.S. men's national team versus Bosnia, 33.5 million. So,
well, there's two things about that. First of all, they do the final every year.
This is every 4 years.
4 years, and it happens to be here. Another thing, I think the NBA
is dropping.
It is doing the NBA and its politics. The way it does things is turning people about the way. I mean, anyone that really watches the NBA can see that the NBA caters to LeBron James. And when you have a league that's always telling people how bad they are, they stop watching. So I think a lot of that has to do with the NBA being self-destructive.
It also says broadcasts of elite European competition like the English Premier League is averaging between 1.9 million and 2 million viewers per match, similar to the MLB. So regardless, I'm not here to, I mean, I like soccer. I do. You guys know that. I'm not here to defend her. I just find it, I like that America's into it.
There's obviously more interest than ever.
Yeah.
Because like there's a nice stadium in Austin built just for soccer.
Austin FC, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, I'll give them that. And look, I don't have a problem people loving soccer. If that's your thing, great. It's not my thing. I can get on board once every 4 years.
Part of the reason I like it so much, though? I mean, my kids are the number one reason, but the second reason, it's like the UFC. I don't cover it. The NFL, I love the NFL, but because I covered it for so long, the fan part of me isn't there as much, if that makes any sense. Because I covered it for 15 years of my career. The college football is different because I'm an A&M fan no matter what, so I'm just a psycho when it comes to my university. But I think when you cover a sport all the time, you lose a little bit of fan. A little bit.
Maybe. I would. I can watch almost any football game anytime and be entertained. Baseball, I only watch if my team's involved.
I'm kind of the same.
There's 162 games, too. There's so many games.
I love Major League Baseball playoffs. I do.
I'm really into college baseball now. Didn't think that would ever happen. Got into volleyball because volleyball is an exciting sport. And unlike soccer, you're seeing a point scored like every minute.
Yeah.
Whereas soccer, you might sit through 90 minutes and it'll be scoreless and everybody will be talking about what a great game it was. I'm like, okay, but I know in some place in the world, Americans we demand results. That's why we're the greatest country and why we have so much, because we demand results.
Well, you get results of the World Cup because there's penalty kicks.
Yeah, but I think a lot of places in the world are happy with a 1-0 win or a 0-0 win because, just getting fed that day is a win.
If you're a bad team and you get a draw against a good team, for instance, which is the game I'm thinking of this past weekend against Argentina? Who am I thinking of? Do you know their story?
I know where Cape Verde is.
Well, they're 350,000 people in their country, and I mean they played everybody tight. They won some games. They almost beat Argentina. Now had they beat Argentina, it would have been the biggest story in the World Cup.
Sure,
But
I get it.
when you're a country like that, getting a result is like going 7-5 in the SEC if you're Mississippi State.
It's Vanderbilt beating Alabama.
There you go.
What do you think about this? What I've been reading is some are claiming that incredibly Argentina seems to be getting a lot of breaks.
I'm not the person to talk to about this. I'm not
saying, FIFA's kind of trying to help.
Who have they played? That's what people are saying. I'm not saying it because I don't want the Argentinians.
Just asking your opinion.
I like Manu Ginobili, by the way. He's the Argentinian I like. Messi's been phenomenal this World Cup. He has been absolutely great, and my guy has not. But they haven't really played anybody yet.
Okay.
But, I mean, they will. I actually talked to my buddy Juan, who I say this on the show all the time, about Indiana. Indiana, you could say, last year they absolutely deserved the national championship, but especially for what they did in the playoffs, right? They demolished Alabama. What was it, 38-3?
Yeah, something like that.
All right. They didn't demolish Miami, but it was a big win, right? And they won the national championship. I think I kind of put Argentina in that boat, what they did in the last World Cup. They beat France. Kylian Mbappe, who, by the way, has 19 goals and he's only 26 years old. He could pass Messi for all-time World Cup goals, and he's only 26.
Yeah.
They beat France, who had won the World Cup before. They deserve all the praise.
Boy, there's a line you never hear. They beat France. Throughout history.
It took me a second. But I think when it's all said and done, everybody if you win the World Cup, you had to beat. But yes, I think they've had an interesting path.
Who do you want to see win if it's not the
U.S.
United
men's
States?
national team?
If it's not the United States.
So I doubt I'll get this. Today, Spain plays Portugal, and the winner of that game takes on the winner of the U.S.-Belgium game, okay?
Oh.
And my kids ask me, who are you rooting for, Ronaldo or the U.S.? I go, the U.S. is not even close.
Okay, but if the United States is out, what team do you hope wins the World Cup?
And they're not going to. Let me just tell you,
Okay.
They're terrible right now. But I would like to see Ronaldo get his World
Portugal.
Cup. I like England a lot because I love Jude Bellingham.
I'm rooting for Norway if the United States.
I love Holland too.
They were fun.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. Who else? I like France.
The guy from Norway who scored, he looks like
he looks like a Viking.
He looks like the villain in Ghostbusters 2.
Can Nick look that up for us? Can you try to find the villain in Ghostbusters 2? Remind me of what that looks like.
He's a big blonde guy.
I think I'm thinking of Dauber from Coach. Is that Dauber? Was that his name? The sidekick?
Jerry Van Dyke?
No. The other one. Wasn't there another guy that?
Oh, yeah.
Was his name Dauber?
Yeah.
That's who I'm thinking of.
But Dauber looked kind of stupid. The other guy looks kind of
like he
sinister.
eats meat off a bone.
Yeah, sinister.
Raw meat.
Yeah.
That's
like he should go to 1775.
Yeah. Well, I should have saved that line, shouldn't I? While Nick is looking that up, let me tell the people the name of the show.
Yes, well, you actually should do that.
Yeah, I did not. If you look at the rundown, we actually had a football topic. But in our pre-show meeting, which was 19 seconds, we started talking about this. It's TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in...
That's the guy.
That's him at 74. That's Holland at 74 for the television audience. There you go, the radio audience.
It's from all those headers.
Google that.
It made his hairline recede.
Can you just, for kicks and giggles, find me Dauber from Coach? I'm sorry, Nick. Just please. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Roller Insurance Studio, the Go Hour, presented by
the Warehouse of CC Creations.
And we are not hanging out over there, but that over there we call it the what?
It goes anywhere. It's the Holistic Planning Cool Zone.
And if you want to be a part of the conversation, what do?
Well, you can call us on the Buppies Catering and Bartending Hotline.
That number is 979-693-1150. And if you want to text that number, we changed the name into the
Catalyst Pure Performance Energy text line.
979-693-1150. I think we have time to go around the room. We go left to right. Did you find Dauber from the TV show Coach?
I'll get it up before we hit a break. But I guess my take on soccer, the best part, my favorite part, first of all, the World Cup's a really cool event, even if you're someone like me who doesn't really care for soccer. But the best part about soccer, OB, penalty kicks. Anytime there's a game that goes into a match that goes into penalty kicks, I watch it because it's super intense, it's super fun, and I don't get how the goalies even stop some of these kicks unless they miss completely. But man, what a disadvantage!
They should have to move the ball back further. I mean, I think I could score.
I don't think you could.
I think
Didn't the MLS, David, like allow the goalkeepers to come out, or like I saw a video on Twitter or something like it was an MLS shootout.
I know in the early years of the MLS, like the PK a guy would like start dribbling from like 40 yards out.
Yeah,
and
that was kind of cool.
Yeah, that's what they used to do in the MLS. But I don't watch a lot.
Like I saw
of
the
MLS.
guy from Brazil talking trash to the
Neymar,
to the Norwegian goalkeeper
after he scored. Yeah,
because he's gonna. I'm like, you're 15 feet away. Of course you're gonna make it. Nick's gonna make that.
I would,
because the goalkeeper has to guess, and if he guesses wrong and he jumps to his left, and you happen to kick it to it, right?
David knows I suck at basketball. I really suck at soccer.
But all you got to do is kick it. When you're 3 years old, you can kick a ball.
I think
it's
we should
hard,
get
OB.
the
It's really hard.
Aggie women's soccer keeper. And since they have a brand new roster, I don't know if I know her name at the moment, and you should go against her for one day. I think that'd be amazing social content.
I'm just saying, if you got like 15 feet or whatever it is, you're that close, and they have to pretty much, they kind of guess, right?
It's like a free throw. It's like a technical foul.
But they're does the keeper not just kind of guess?
Yes.
Well, all you got to do is hope they guess wrong.
Yeah.
If they guess wrong, you're going to make it. Might as well do rock, paper, scissors.
If I remember
decide who's
correctly,
going to win.
Harry Kane had a PK at the end
we
of.
win. We win. I got scissors. We win. A scissor kick? No, just scissors.
Nick, anything else, buddy?
Here's Dauber.
There you go. That's Erling Haaland.
I think my guy looks more like
for sure the hair, but like
we got to get the guy from Norway and Dauber on the left, and my guy
and the guy from Goodwill Hunting.
I'll put that together.
The guy at the bar, Goodwill Hunting. How you like them apples? He says it to him.
Yeah.
He had long hair in that movie.
Yeah, but that can't be just every long hair guy.
Yes, every long hair, kind of yellow/white blonde. What do you call that?
Blonde,
but like almost white blonde.
Let's get to the social center.
Yeah, we should probably do that. Angry Elephant Social Center. Ms. Gaither, how are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
I'm all right. I actually got 7.5 hours of sleep.
Yeah. Well, I think the villain from Ghostbusters is a really good representation of Holland. I think you were spot on, OB.
When I'm watching it, I said, who's that guy? Looks like the villain from Ghostbusters. Yeah. I can't remember the villain's name.
So he is one of the 4 or 5 best players in the world.
Well, if you can kick it right between the guy's legs.
You know what that's called?
Between the legs?
A nutmeg.
Okay.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but that's what it's called.
Well, what's wrong with nutmeg?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just making sure.
So, moving on from that, we're going to stay with soccer because there was some news this morning that Belgium is they've been granted the right to appeal FIFA's decision to suspend the 1-game ban handed to Fuller and Balogun. So, Belgium is now appealing the suspension of the 1-game ban, and I don't know, it's just a back and forth kind of situation.
Now, what's this guy's name again?
Fullerin Balogun.
Fullerin?
Yeah, he's a guy from
Fullerin Balogun.
He's from Wisconsin. You can tell.
Balogun. So Balogun. Yeah.
Balogun. He's not Spanish. But
Fullerman.
Fullerin.
Balogun. Fullerin. What a name. Hey, why can't we need to be
American boy?
We need to be like the Brazilians and just give the guy one name. So
Balogun.
Yeah, but like Pele is not his last name.
No.
It was just some name they came up with. Like, call him George.
Jorge. I don't know if we should get into this topic very long because I know certain people on this show are very opinionated about certain things. And I'm talking about myself, of course.
Okay.
But I believe, regardless of how you think it happened, they got it right. This guy should not have been suspended for another game based on an accident. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean, they don't even do that in targeting, right? Yeah. You only lose a half. And if you do it in the first half, so I didn't see it. I heard people describe it. He's backing up and, I mean, you got guys running into each other. Things like that are going to happen. It just seems that's one more reason to think soccer's kind of soft.
It was interesting because they didn't initially give him a penalty.
See? Always a number 2. Always a number 2. Go ahead.
But yeah, they didn't give him a penalty initially at all. And when they went to the VAR, which is their review booth, they slowed it down. The ref looked at it.
You're not supposed to give a red card.
Really bad, and then the red card was handed out.
You're not supposed to give a red card, in my understanding, based on slow motion.
Mm-hmm. So
then why did they?
Because they're bad.
Because they want to screw over the Americans?
Yeah. And apparently the official for tonight's game is not good either, but whatever. It's the SEC, baby.
See, my guy wins in a
No,
landslide.
If that's like grandpa, father, son.
That's that guy tomorrow. He looks like Ghostbusters.
All right, we're so late for a break. We've never done this much soccer. We lost everybody on the YouTube page.
I don't think so.
We gained people. Oh, see, soccer is the number 3 sport in the country. Told you. We'll hit a break. So what did I say? Erling Haaland looks like a guy that you get raw meat and just rip the wolf's leg off and take a bite.
I mean, they're here in the United States.
Wolves?
No, the Norwegians.
Yeah.
So if they continue to win, I wonder if they could advance like to Houston again.
I think Houston's done.
Okay.
I believe they're done.
Well, then, sorry, Ghostbuster.
But they might go to Dallas.
Okay, well then that would give them an opportunity to come down. Hey, for that you score a goal where you kick a nutmeg into the corner, you deserve some succulent brisket, some amazing pork ribs, some of that jalapeno cheese sauce. You know what you deserve?
America?
You deserve queso mac and cheese at $17.75. Even a Norwegian can appreciate that.
Yeah, I think I need to go on Thursday now.
I think you should.
They're open 11 a.m. until they're sold out.
Have some carne.
Carne.
Yeah.
Carnecita.
See.
Say it.
See.
Say carnecita.
Creations.
Okay. 979-492-6241. The website is 1775. TXBBQ.com will be at 1775.
It's good.
Hey everyone, David Nuno here of TexAgs Live. I want to introduce you to the team at Holistic Planning. Got Jason Barber here, Taylor Pankratz, and also Paul Meredith. Jason, I want to start off with you. What really sets Holistic Planning apart from the others?
Yeah, so what makes us different is most financial advisors stop at investment management. On the other hand, Holistic Planning, we manage investments, taxes, and estate planning all on one team, all underneath one roof.
Now, Taylor, when everything is coordinated like that, it really helps the bottom line, doesn't it?
It really does. When your investments and taxes are working together, you stop leaving money on the table and keep more of what's yours.
Paul, Holistic Planning is trying to expand as well.
That's true. We just opened our Houston office, and we're looking for people who feel like their advisor isn't seeing the full picture, because that's exactly what we fix.
And Jason, there's other opportunities beyond that.
Definitely. If you're a financial advisor and you want to join the Holistic Planning team, we're looking to add 50 teams in the next 5 to 10 years. So check out holisticplanning.com/advisors.
All right, so if you want a team that actually coordinates everything, go to holisticplanning.com. Aggies, this one is worth it. All right, we're back. We got to get back on track. Short segment. So I'm going to read this from the YouTube page. And just to let OB say one word or two. A werewolf 7, who's only tweeted or posted at A&M's, or TexAgs YouTube page twice, both negative comments, says A&M will prove they can create a bunch of unwarranted hype so they can just win 7 or 8 games, just like they quite literally always do. Like a true Aggie, he said that, I'm sure. Did they win 11 games last year, OB?
Yeah.
Okay. Does it feel like they're moving in the right direction, Olin Buchanan?
I feel like the Aggies are moving in the right direction.
I don't understand why you make that comment right here. We didn't even talk.
After say that, right after they always do, right after they won 11 games. Yeah. Well,
you know what Coach Elko's always done at A&M?
What?
Is he's got them knocking on the door to the SEC championship game with 1 game left. Now he's got to break through that door. But that's what he's done in his 2 years as a head coach.
Yeah, and I think he knows that, and I think he's very determined to knock down that door. Yeah. So this was Werewolf?
Well, yeah, but I don't understand, like...
Werewolf.
Are you listening to the show? Is that like... I feel like you just come, I want to make it about me, and watch Nuno derail the show and read my... Because I do. But I like getting upset with humans. Mm-hmm. Except for Olin. I don't get mad at Olin. But, like, you only do that just to, like... I want to make myself a spectacle because I'm a loser. I'm a werewolf, but not a real one. He might be a nice guy. I'm kidding, werewolf. You might be
I'm assuming he probably has a beard, you know, like.
But if that's your YouTube page and that's your Gmail account, werewolf07.
Werewolf07.
Like most people, bob.smith@gmail.com.
Well, I will say this. I appreciate people that just put their regular name involved, you know, so then, I mean, it's easy to be a punk when you're anonymous.
But there are a lot of people on our YouTube chat that are very nice that are anonymous, like Rancho Texan. Love him. I just, you know.
I didn't say everybody who's anonymous is a punk. I'm saying it's easy to be a punk if you're anonymous.
Yeah. I don't have a burner account.
I know you of all people will agree with this. The problem with America Day is not enough people have gotten, you know, punched in the face for being disrespectful. You know, back in the day when you had to be accountable for the things you said and you know, or did, kind of changed the way you communicated.
Yep. We're going to hit a break because we might have a guest in the next segment. We might have had a mix-up with time, so we'll figure that out. Right now, we're talking Rollo Insurance. They build lasting relationships through education, helping you understand what you're buying and the why behind it. They have expertise in just about everything from auto to business to home, you name it, and specialty coverage. Their independent agents do provide options tailored to your specific needs. They take time to explain that policy in plain language, ensuring you're never left wondering about your coverage. And their educational approach empowers you to make informed decisions about your insurance future. Check out the website, rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. That's rolloinsurance.com/TexAgs. Or call them up, 888-44-ROLLO. That's 888-44-ROLLO. All right, we're back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio, the Go Hour, presented by the Warehouse at CC. All right, OB.
Yeah.
What does each college football team have to prove to you in 2026? I'm going to give you a team, and let's discuss, like, when I say prove, there's many ways you could talk about prove, right? Like, prove that last year wasn't a one-time deal. Prove that you can get over the hump. Prove that whatever, right? There's many things we can choose, right? What does A&M have to prove to you in 2026?
Mike Elko has said this himself, so I don't feel that they're not a one-year wonder.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Elko said himself, hey, you've seen A&M come up and have these really good years and then fall back again. Ebb, flow, but there's been more ebb than flow.
I want more flow.
Yeah, more flow.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing, Flo B, that they need to do is prove that, and look,
that they can sustain.
That does not mean you have to go 11-1, right? Like it means that you have to be more than relevant. You have to be a playoff type of program every year, knocking on the door of the playoffs and being in the playoffs. I don't think you have to go 11-1 this year to prove that last year was like.
I agree with that.
You can go 9-3 and it feel like a step back. But hopefully that's the low bar for this program. You can go 10-2 and it be better than last year because you beat better teams, let's just say.
Yeah, I think if you were in the discussions for the playoff up to the very last week.
Yes.
But you just stay relevant in the SEC race.
Yeah.
I mean, significantly. Not at the beginning of November you were in it, and then you disappeared like they did for years. I always say A&M put the no in November. Put the yes in November.
Yavember.
Yeah.
Yavember.
Make it a yes-vember.
Yavember.
Yes-vember. Yes-vember. Not November. Yes-vember.
Yesember. Yesember.
Yesember.
Does that sound like September? Yesember.
And December.
Yesember, Yosemite Park. All right, we'll move on from there. What does Texas have to prove to you?
What does Texas have to prove? That they're not overhyped again.
Mm-hmm.
Last year, they're going to win the national championship, and Arch is going to win the Heisman Trophy, and, well, they didn't even get into the playoff.
Mm-hmm.
And Arch had a nice second half, but he wasn't even a Heisman finalist, was he?
No.
Maybe, I didn't think he was.
He finished the last two games of the season strong. Billy has said many times on this show, November wasn't as great as people say. I mean, he had, I think, the Mississippi State game and the Kentucky game in that stretch.
He didn't even throw. He had a nice touchdown with, of course, you could have thrown it. The guy was wide open. I don't know what happened to the coverage on that play. But throwing the ball, he did most of his damage against A&M running.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
By the way, I think he's a great player. I do. So
I thought they were too critical of him and also gave him too much hype and praise before he entered.
The worst thing that could have happened was Feinbaum saying this is the best player since Tim Tebow or whatever that was. Even though there's probably been better players since Tim Tebow, I'd take Joe Burrow over Tim Tebow, for instance.
Alabama, what do they have to prove to you?
They have to prove that. I think first of all, to be good, they got to prove they can run the football.
Mm-hmm. Does Kalen DeBoer have to prove anything to you?
Oh yeah. Kalen DeBoer. Now they say, hey, he's gotten into the playoff, right? Okay. Kalen it's probably what Kalen DeBoer has to prove more than Alabama. That he's capable of winning, or of winning to Alabama standards, and that may be impossible. I don't know if Alabama standards is national championship or nothing.
Right.
They're gonna have to adjust those, but capable of being elite.
Do you think Alabama is still semi-feared?
I think they're absolutely respected.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they're feared. I think a lot of times
Who is feared then?
I saw
Indiana.
I still think the team that most people, if there was fear involved, if any team out there has a 3 or 7 point advantage just because you're playing them.
I think I know who you're going to say.
I'm going to say it's Ohio State.
I was going to say Georgia, but okay.
I think it's Ohio State. I don't think Georgia's been that for the last 2 seasons.
No, but
they're really good.
Yeah, they're down.
Yeah,
they make the playoffs and they win the SEC. Like, it's just, that's what they do, you know? LSU, what do they have to prove to you?
In order to be good, I think they have to prove that they can protect the passer and play good defense. But I mean, I beyond that, I mean, I still think they have to, with all the hype they're getting, they have to prove that they're a legitimate playoff contender.
Yeah,
I don't think everybody's putting them in the playoff, and I'm thinking, yeah, look, I get it. Lane Kiffin is a really good coach, and Sam Leavitt, okay, had a lot of success at Arizona State. Okay, that doesn't necessarily
predicated, I think, on his running game, but
yeah, but I saw a team that, like A&M, moved the ball up and down the field on their defense last year, and you're taking some good players off of that defense. I know they added some, but like Halsey and Mansour Delane and Harold Perkins.
What was Sam Leavitt's injury? Was it Liz Frank?
Liz Frank injury.
Yeah, like
who's she?
She's Frank's daughter.
I read her diary.
Not Anne Frank.
Not Anne Frank. What was I going to say? I completely lost my train of thought now.
We're talking about LSU and their defense.
Yeah, there was something I forgot.
Something about Kiffin.
I can't even think about it.
Sorry.
It's okay. It was actually a wonderful point I was going to make, but it's over. No, there was something about LSU and Lane Kiffin. I do think this is not what I was going to say, but Lane has to prove he can win big games.
Yeah, he's lost some big ones.
But I think it did. Oh, Liz Frank. Okay. Like, if I remember correctly, you can Google this just to confirm. Matt Schaub had Liz Frank injury. There's others that have had this injury that you don't just come back, right? It takes a while.
Is this like Lou Gehrig's disease?
No, it's not.
You know,
I'm not laughing.
Lou Gehrig, Liz Frank.
It's not Liz.
That's what I want. If I ever get a disease, I want it to be named after me.
A Liz Frank injury occurs when the ligaments supporting the midfoot are torn or the bones are fractured or dislocated. Often mistaken for a simple ankle sprain, it's a serious condition characterized by midfoot pain, swelling, and severe bruising, especially on the bottom.
I think I have that.
You have Liz Frank?
I think I have Liz.
Well, you can still kick a goal. You could get a PK against a world-class keeper.
If they choose wrong.
If they choose wrong, yeah. Here are some people who've had it. Julio Jones, Chet Holmgren, Cam Newton, Le'Veon Bell, Travis Etienne, Lane Johnson, Dwight Freeney, Udonis Haslem.
Okay.
So I think you got to prove that. All right. Penn State, do they got to prove something to you this year?
Yeah, that they have a pulse. Yeah, here, look, Penn State has to prove that they can win in the Big Ten with Iowa State players that didn't win in the Big 12.
Yeah.
Because did he take half of his team?
Yeah, but I think he still kept quite a bit from that was at Penn State before.
Okay, so I got to take the team that underachieved in the Big Ten and then take players that didn't win in the Big 12 and win the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I ain't buying.
Do you think they upgraded at coach?
Not really.
It's a wash.
Yeah.
James Franklin was good.
Yeah.
He had a bad year, no doubt. What does Texas Tech got to prove to Olin Buchanan?
Oh, gosh.
You're laughing.
What do the Texas Tech?
They're listening.
That they can win without their
Shoresby?
quarterback.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which they never won with before anyway.
Right. And I think they say that that backup quarterback is as good as they say he is now.
Do you think they'll still be considered the bad guys?
Yeah. I do too. I do.
Yeah.
I just wonder, what's the under-over on Texas Tech and what is Sorsby taking? Come on. That's how I want to know how to bet the under-over. Hey.
He lost a lot, didn't he?
Brandon. What are we going under-over on Texas Tech? It's 9.5. Sorsby says take the over.
I got a couple more. We'll do it on the other side because if not, we won't hit a break. All right, let's talk Heritage Films. When it comes to preserving your farm or your ranch's legacy, it's not about pretty pictures. It's not about Facebook memories. It's about capturing the essence of your land and transferring those values to the future generations that are going to inherit it. Chance McClain and his team at Heritage Films do just that. They've interviewed thousands of stories and people across America, and they've discovered something profound. This isn't just a business. It's about blueprints, about building character, from timber farmers thinking 100-year cycles to cattle ranchers preserving traditions. And Farm and Ranch Films, a part of Heritage Films, will do that for your awesome ranch. Tell that story for the future generations, for your current generation as well. The website is yourheritagefilm.com, yourheritagefilm.com. Call them up, 713-893-8341, 713-893-8341. It's Heritage Films. Hey friends, David Nuno here for the Association of Former Students, and have you checked out the latest issue of the Texas Aggie magazine? The May through June issue is a special Aggie Spirits issue that includes all things Aggie: wine, beer, mead, spirits, and much, much more. And the team at the Association of Former Students searched far and wide for Aggie-owned businesses, breweries, wineries across the state, the country, and even the world. That's right, the globe, baby. And as much as could be found has been compiled into the magazine for the Aggie Network. Now, normally, the Texas Aggie magazine is available only to Century Club members. However, this issue is available to everyone. So to read the issue and explore giving to receive future issues, visit tx.ag/Texas Aggie. That is tx.ag/Texas Aggie. Again, don't miss the special Aggie Spirits issue of the Texas Aggie to explore all things Aggie: wine, beer, mead, spirits, and much, much more. It is tx.ag/Texas Aggie. Check it out. I'm over here having a conversation with Cade Nagley and not realizing we've been back for break for 9 minutes. It's like, you're going to let the song keep playing?
Yeah, we just play the Eagles the whole.
I didn't have my headset on. All right, we're continuing. What do these teams have to prove to you? Ole Miss!
One of these nights we're going to get back on the show.
We did freaking 25-minute segment on the World Cup. Oh, my God.
What does Ole Miss have to prove? That they're still I really love their quarterback, and I think they have a heck of a running back, but what about everything else? I think they have to prove that they're still a competitive team.
They can win without Lane. Yep.
Yeah.
Indiana.
That I think it's less what they have to prove, more what the kid from quarterback from TCU, Hoover.
Yeah, Josh Hoover.
That they can still win without Fernando.
Yeah. Or I don't think Are they
There's a lot
still
of
going to be a
other good-
relevant playoff-worthy team? That's it, right? Like number 9, the Miami Hurricanes.
Yeah, that they're not a one-year wonder, because I mean they've been pretty good,
Mm-hmm.
but last year they broke through. Are they going to go? Are they? Is the ebb tide coming for them too?
It's interesting
because they lose a lot of good linemen.
Yeah, they do. And I think Darian Mensah, who could have been the bad guy entering this season based on how he left Duke, like it's been very quiet around him. Maybe because of the Sorsby situation, maybe because people just aren't thinking about it. But remember, didn't he leave Duke with a contract?
Yeah, but Duke. The difference was Duke was good with it because they made a deal. I think probably got some money from Miami. And
what about USC? They have a hard schedule for USC for Big Ten purposes. They have a hard schedule.
Yeah, they got to prove that they can win.
Yeah.
I mean, they didn't bring in, and again, that's more on Lincoln Riley. They didn't bring in Lincoln Riley to be an also-ran.
Yeah, I think Lincoln Riley needs to prove that he can outrun previous results and previous quarterbacks, right? Like he needs to. How long can you just keep pointing back at your resume when you're at Oklahoma? It's been long enough.
And even then, he just took over what Bob Stoops had rolling.
Right.
So, yeah, I think they got to prove they can win at a high level with Lincoln Riley.
Yeah.
And he needs to prove he can smoke a brisket.
Who would have thought that a 25-minute World Cup segment would have been fun with Olin Buchanan?
I had a good time with it. It was a good day today.
Thank you, buddy.
Yep.
When we come back on TexAgs Live, Travis Chestnut, he wants to be a Savannah banana. Let's find out more about it. That and more is TexAgs. All right, we're back. TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers Rollo Insurance Studio. Let's talk to a former A&M utility man who did it all here. Travis Chestnut joining us here on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline to talk about the Bananas, talk about his time at A&M, and just life in general. What's up, Travis? How you been, sir?
What's up? I'm good. How are you?
Good, man. Thanks for joining us. So I saw the video, and just how did this whole am I right? Did you do an initial video before? Like this is the second video, this most recent one, or was there some talk about this?
That was the first one.
Okay, first one. So how did it all come together?
Well, season ended at A&M, and every other one that I talked to, like all the fans were like, "You have to go play banana ball. You'd be the perfect banana ball player." So I was like, and like in my head, like banana ball wasn't like what I thought it was. I thought it was like kind of like a joke. And so I was like, I started looking at it, started watching some games, and I was like, wait, this looks fun. Talked to some buddies that play for them currently, and Tyner Hughes, he's like, this is the most fun I've ever had playing baseball. Like, you have to try. Like, he's like, it's literally so much fun. So I was like, all right. I told Mom, I was like, I guess let's try. Let's see what we can do. And so we went down to A&M and made a video, and it got a lot of love and support. So I don't know. We'll see. We're seeing where it's going. I'm going to do some more videos and post and kind of see how it goes. Yeah.
So, okay, help me understand how this works, though. You have to be invited to try out. Am I right about that?
Yeah. So I filled out a questionnaire / resume. And then I guess they review all the information that I put on this resume, and they invite you to a tryout. So I haven't really heard anything back. I don't really know how it works. I'm still learning exactly too. I've talked to some coaches and some players, and there's a tryout in October, and so they'll send invitations come closer to October. So I've just been trying to stay in shape, been hitting and doing all that until October. But as far as I'm aware, you fill out the questionnaire, you submit videos, post videos, get attention to you, and then they invite you to a tryout.
So fan support will help you. So everybody watching TexAgs, that helps in retweets and reposts and whatnot, that helps you get their attention, right?
For sure. I know that my buddy Tyner, when he was first trying to join the Bananas, he was posting videos, and everyone was adding in his comments Barry Aldridge, who's the director of player development. And eventually he said Barry responded to him eventually. And so he said that his fan support helped him be able to play for them right now. So yes, it's a lot of help.
So hold on, let me see if I can get this right. You're not telling everybody that's listening to this show and watching this show to go tag Barry Aldridge. You're not saying that. But if they accidentally did, just to cause more attention, I mean, it is what it is, right?
Yeah. I mean, that would be, I think that's the ideal thing, but I would never say that. I would never tell them to do that.
Yeah, but I mean, if they just decided to do it right now, I mean, I'd read it on the show. So in your conversations with your buddy Tyner and others, like, how do they... Okay, I know like these skills that they do and some of the tricks that they do, like they do it and they still get the out. They do it and they still score the run. Like, do you know how they practice? Like, do you practice tricks? I don't know how that works.
Yeah, so I guess, I'm about to go to the field here coming soon somewhere around this area and just try trick shots, I guess you call them. I'm not too sure. I don't think it's, I've been playing this game for 22 years now, so I feel like I can catch a ball between my legs or catch it behind my back. Like, I don't think it can be that hard, I hope. But I do know that they're like in their practices, I don't know what their schedule is, but they practice like baseball, and then they have a choreographer. I can't say that word. Choreographer.
Yeah.
Choreographer. That's what it is. Choreographer. And they'll practice their talent or their dance moves or whatever. So it's like, I think they spend a lot of time. I know that my buddy's like, he always posted on Snapchat, like him at a field practicing something, either baseball or dancing or what their skit is that game coming up. So I know they do a lot of behind the scenes practice on stuff.
So take me through what you have kind of thought about your future. All right. So obviously the Bananas is your current goal, and you're going to do everything you can to do that. But I'm sure when the season ended and you started looking at what your life is going to look like, what are some things that Travis Chestnut wants to do with life, if it's the Bananas, if it's something else?
Yeah, originally, so season ended. I didn't really have any, I obviously didn't have play. I didn't expect the season to end that early, as it did. my first thought was, okay, I love baseball. I want to coach. Like, let me try to see what I can do for coaching. And I almost started reaching out to all coaches that I know of. And right before I did that, I was like, all right, let's try bananas first, because there's only one time to try to play bananas. Mm-hmm. You can coach at any age. So I decided to hold off on texting all the coaches and sending in resumes and submitting all that stuff. And I reached out to the bananas first. But that was my original plan, was to maybe get into coaching, or I don't know. I've had some people reach out about kind of management, company management. I know I want to stay in baseball. It's what I've done for my whole life. So, and I know I could be good at it, and I love it. So that was my original plan, and I think that's plan B, I'd say. Mm-hmm. Maybe C, BC. But the thing with coaching that sucks is you never make money to start, unless no one ever signs a head job for the first job.
Right.
So that's kind of like the sacrifice you have to kind of eat, I think. But as far as plan C, I think that coaching doesn't work, because obviously it's hard to reach out to coaches and get that job that you really want. I think I would just try to go into I love construction, so I think I would go into like some project management, maybe some kind of management side of the workforce.
Easy for me to say, but like if you're just following your heart, man, the money will come eventually, right? Like if that's what you love to do, you put yourself in the position to do what you love to do, because I think the real wealth is in happiness, right?
Yes, sir. That is true.
Sorry to drop dad lines on you here on TexAgs.
Give my heart. Give my heart.
Hey, so, okay, you've been on the show a couple times before. I want people who don't know your story to kind of know your story, because I think the last 2 years is such an amazing journey. But even before that, like your journey to A&M initially, leaving, coming back, kind of take us through the journey and what this last year meant to you.
Yeah, for sure. So obviously started 2 years of junior college. I was able to get recruited by Olin Buchanan from Temple, and I was in A&M in 23 and 24. 24, we obviously went to the championship series, lost to Tennessee, heartbreaking. And then baseball was over for me. I started working I wanted to stay in baseball, so I got a job at DBAT. I was giving lessons, coaching kids, and I knew in the back of my head that somehow, because of COVID, I had Division II eligibility, Division II, III, or NAIA eligibility only. And so I was like I couldn't swallow my pride to like go from SEC championship to Division II. It took a while, and then I was working at DBAT. I saw Angelo State playing on TV, like some like old throwback game or whatever, and I was like, okay, that doesn't look too bad. Like maybe I could try it. So I reached out to some Division II coaches. Went around, visited, ended up going to St. Ed's, close to home. Felt really good there. Played that entire year strictly with the mindset of, this is my last year. Let's have as much fun as possible. Let's try to hit as many homers, steal as many bases. Just do what I just try to be me as much as possible. I guess like side note, it's when you're playing at A&M and you have 10,000 people watching you, it's hard to be yourself. Mm-hmm. So when I was going to St. Ed's, I was like, there's no one here. Like there's 10 people, a mom and my buddy's mom, and that's it. So it's easy to be yourself. And so I try to keep that motto of like, just be me. Finished up at St. Ed's. And I guess throughout like the last like 2 months of the season, there was like talk that the Diego Pavio rule was going to go into effect with there was a chance that I could get Division I eligibility back. And so I had started like working on all the research on that side and submitting in my eligibility waiver. Season ended at St. Ed's. I think we lost in the regional or something. Yeah, I lost in the regional. And I had all my application stuff. I submitted all my waivers and stuff through A&M, and just because that's who I knew and that was easy. It didn't seem like it was going to go through. Like it was kind of like, it was sounding like I had to get lawyers and sue, and like I just couldn't afford that or do all that. And I got a call from another college and their compliance officer, and she was talking about how she found the loophole. She's like, we got you another year, like you have it. She explained to me that it was an interpretation of one of the rulings it was I don't know how she found this or what it is, or like really it was kind of confusing to me. I was trying to understand it, and so I called Coach early and I was like, hey, they said I have another year. He's like, what? Who said? I was like, Austin P. And he's like, well, hold on, like I have to get approved for my compliance officer. So he started talking with Marcos at A&M, and basically, they found an interpretation of one of the rulings, and I used the Diego Pavia waiver, which gave me another year of eligibility, and then I used the COVID-19 waiver to give me another year on my clock. So it's stacking of, it was confusing, really confusing to me, and that's why I don't do that. And so when I came back to A&M, my goal was to continue that same motto that I had at St. Ed's, which was just have fun, be yourself. When Coach Early brought me in there for my visit, the whole point was he wanted me to be a leader, and he wanted me to, I have the experience. We went to the World Series. I know what it takes to compete and to be successful at that level. And so just trying to lead and do whatever it takes to get the team as far as we can. But my whole thing was just play hard, play fast, play like Travis. And that this year, I truly know that it was my last year of college baseball. Like there was no shot I could get another year. And if I could, I would. But it was super fun. Just going from SEC. So your first time you get to A&M, every kid, every player that's ever gone there or any SEC school, you're like, oh my God, we have this, we do this, we do this, and you're like kind of mind blown. Like you're so grateful for everything. And then you spend, for me, 2 years there, and it's like it becomes normal. Right? You're like, oh, can I get another pair of batting gloves? Yeah, I got you. Can I get a new pair of spikes? Yeah, I got you. And then you leave and you go to Division II. And you get one pair of shorts, one practice shirt, a couple batting gloves, and one pair of cleats. And it's like, it was kind of like a humbling experience where it's like, okay, I forgot that all that was extra. So to be able to like have that and to kind of take the 360 of like, be grateful for the things that you have here at A&M. It was also really cool to like, kind of just feel and to live in.
I got so many follow-ups from that. That's some really good stuff. So first off, let me see if I got this right. Austin P did this to try to get you to go to Austin P, but that information you used, I love this story, by the way, to get back to A&M. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah. I felt terrible because the compliance officer, Austin P, was doing a lot of work, which it was weird. Like I never have ever talked to Austin P ever in my life. Like I didn't even know what that was. And I get a call. Well, I was in the portal, obviously, because I had to enter the portal to get calls. And so I was in the portal and I get a call from whatever their area code is. And I answer, he's like, hey, this is Austin P, the compliance officer. And I was like, well, Austin P? I was like, I thought that was a bank. I'm serious. I thought it was a bank, like Austin P Banking or whatever. I was like, okay. And then obviously we talked a little bit, but yeah, I did. I felt kind of terrible because I kind of used Austin P to get to A&M, but A&M would have figured it out eventually. But I guess, even throughout that process, like I was getting calls from other schools, and I'd answer the phone. This is blah, 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 from whatever. And I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like I'm really pursuing A&M. This is before I even talked to her. Like I knew before I even talked to Early that I was going back to A&M. I didn't care if he took me. I didn't care if he wanted me. I was going back there somehow or some way. Cause that's where I wanted to be. Like it was just where I wanted to be.
Well, and then the other thing you said that caught my attention was that you were able to be yourself. So talk a little bit about that, finding yourself there at St. Edwards again, the baseball version, the kid that played the game, and be able to bring that to the quote-unquote the big leagues that is the SEC that maybe you kind of lost on the way during your first stint at A&M.
Yeah, so you come to A&M. To get to A&M, you have to be the best player on your high school or best player on your select team, whatever. The best players go to the SEC schools. You obviously the best player if you are who you are. And then you get to A&M, right? And you're the best player. You no one's better than you up to this point. Then you get to A&M, and everyone is the same as you, if not better. So you get to this. I feel like you get to this point mentally where you try to be a Nico Partita, you try to be a Boston Kellner, you try to be a Gavin Grahovac, because you see that and you're with them every day and they're normal people to you, and you try to be someone who you're not. I think it's really easy to, obviously it's a human nature to strive for more and to try to be better. But I feel like for me personally, I started trying to do things that I wasn't supposed to do. Like my game is to get on first base, steal second, pitcher throws a wild pitch or box, I get to third. Like that's my game. And when I got to A&M, I started doing that really well. And then you start you hit a homer and you're like, oh, maybe I can hit homers now. Let me try to hit some more homers. Or you hit a triple and you want to you try to do something you're not supposed to do. So at St. Ed's, it was easy to just do what I wanted to do because I guess no shame to anybody, but there was no one that was really going to tell me that I can't do something in baseball. I guess not to sound weird or whatever, but that was just I did what I wanted to do. If I wanted to steal second base, coaches gave me full grasp to go and steal second base. He knew that I was capable of doing it. He knew my judgment was going to be the right judgment most of the time. And it was just easy to just do what I wanted to do. And I kind of learned that when Travis is playing baseball, if Travis is trying to hit a homer, it's not helping the team. If Travis is being lazy and not stealing second base, it's not helping the team win. So I got to just really understand that. And the thing about baseball is coaches will tell you, but as a player, you don't listen. You don't want to listen because it's not fun. I don't know. I guess, not fun's not the right word, but it's not obviously hitting the homer is a lot cooler than bunting for a single. So you try to I feel I guess all kids listening, do what's going to make your career the best. Don't be selfish is the whole point. And I knew throughout my whole career, I wanted to hit homers. I tried to hit homers all the time. And every time I would be blazing hot and I'd hit a homer. And then the next day I'm in this home run swing and home run mentality. And my hot streak goes nowhere. So it's just don't try to do more than, for me at St. Ed's, I just didn't try to do more than what I was supposed to do for majority of the time. And obviously I fell in a few slumps there, but it's just the ability to just be who you are and master. And the thing is, I preach it to kids. They'll DM me on Instagram hey, Travis, I'm 14. I'm this and that. How do I get to play at A&M? And I always tell them my number one response is find what you're good at and master it. Be the best at that you can be. I was if you hit home runs, be the best home run hitter in the world. I was if you steal bases, be the best stolen base runner in the world. And I preach it all the time, but when you get to the moment and you have 10,000 people and there's half this side's talking smack to you and half this side's loving you, it's it's hard to just do what you're supposed to do. But I guess at St. Ed's, I was able to kind of really learn that just because you just didn't have that hate and then love and then hate and then love. It's just, I don't know. It was a cool experience, though.
What you just said, though, I think encapsulates your time at Texas A&M. I can think back to the Mississippi State series, right? Finding winning plays, right? Everything you talked about was on display in that third game of that series against Mississippi State. So, you lived up to what your mantra was heading into the season.
Mm-hmm. For sure. That's what I went on an interview with Travis Brown, and that's all I talked about was I wanted to just be me the entire time. And I know that's all I've really talked about today, but that was legit my goal, was just be me. And especially this past year at A&M, I didn't play every single game. I wasn't an everyday starter. My role was to sit the bench. If someone got hurt, go fill that position. If there was a runner at first base and late in the game, I knew I was coming in to bunt. And that was my role. So I just told myself, obviously do whatever I can to try to get on the field and start every day. But until that happens, I want to be the best at what I can be. And I don't think I messed up a bunt the whole season.
Travis, before I let you go, yeah, it did work out. Before I let you go, what does A&M mean to you? Obviously, you came back another time, right? You had your great run there. You said a moment ago that you were going to come back to A&M if Early wanted you or not. So just how do you put into words your love for this university?
It's the best place. There's no place I would rather be. Obviously, I came back for a reason. I knew that A&M was where. It's just the amount of love that you feel, the amount of the fan support. Just it's hard to to not want to be somewhere like A&M. I mean, even if you're getting the job, I feel like in a workforce, you want your job to replicate A&M and like the support and the care and the love and the traditions and everything that comes with A&M. It's just, I love that place, and it will definitely be in my heart forever. I wear my Aggie ring proud every day down here in Austin. I wear it up. I wear my A&M shirts out. I love the place, and there's nothing I would do anything to just be there again and wear that uniform one more time.
Travis, amazing stuff, man. Thanks for making some time. You got a home here on TexAgs anytime you want to come on.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Travis Chestnut there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Appreciate that conversation. We'll hit a break. We'll come back. Open segment followed by Chris Lowe of On 3. Right now, Milliken Reserve Time. They're a farm-to-table community in College Station. They got homes, they got trails, they got farms, they got wide open spaces, and they have the mission to build a healthy community around nature. They're dedicated to the conservation of a healthy community, respect for the native landscape and wildlife. They have 2,600 acres of open space, farms, and trails. Milliken Reserve connects families to nature and to each other. They have a variety of native species that find their homes there in the preserved woods and the awesome areas around Milliken Reserve, from the white-tailed deer to the songbirds, the rabbits, the turtles, and homeowners at Milliken Reserve sharing a legacy of conservation. Check out the website, millikenreserve.com. That's millikenreserve.com. Everybody, David Nuno here from TexAgs, here with some of our new friends from Frog Slayer. We've got the CEO, Ross Morrell, and the VP of Revenue, Jacob Stone. Ross, I want to start off with you. Who is Frog Slayer? What do you all do?
Yeah, Frog Slayer is a custom software, AI and automation company. We're based here in College Station. We've got about 50 employees right here, almost all Aggies. We've been doing this since 2005, about 21 years. Really what we do is we partner with business owners of growing businesses. And our goal is to come in, help them actually realize the promised technology in their company so they can create a company that is worth more than is tomorrow, that is today, and run a better business.
Jacob, I do want to ask you, what's different about Frog Slayer's approach when it comes to AI?
Yeah, absolutely. So we don't just do AI, we do AI right. And so what that means is we embed ourselves inside of our client's team, and we help them plan, build, and ship solutions that they can deploy to a production environment that anyone can use.
All right, Ross, I've got to ask you, why the name Frog Slayer?
Yeah, it's an old riff off Mark Twain quote. So he said, the hardest thing you got to do today is eat a frog. It's best to do it first thing in the morning. So that's kind of our ethos of doing hard things first. And it's also a nice tie into gigging.
Yeah, I love that. Jacob, let's close out. Where can we all find Frog Slayer?
Yes, you can find us online at frogslayer.com.
All right, thank you very much to both of you, Ross and Jacob. Check out Frog Slayer. Who's that singing?
I know it's Can You Kick It?
Nick Savage, still the people.
Someone.
A Tribe Called Quest.
Can I kick it? Yes, I can. Here on TexAgs Live, we are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. How about that conversation with Travis Chestnut?
That was such a good interview.
It was good.
I really enjoyed it.
He's been in this studio 2 or 3 times well, at least with me, maybe 3 with me. I'm sure he's done stuff with Bronny. But every time he is unfiltered, opens up. I thought it was really good stuff.
It's cool for me to see him, pursue that because I first ran into him back before he even started at A&M the first time around. He spent the summer with the Brazos Valley Bombers, and I just remember thinking, this kid is so fast, like he's going to impact some games, and boy, did he.
He impacted games, and like when he's the first thing I thought of was that Mississippi State series, when he is describing, a sack bunch, stealing a base. I'm like, dude, that's what he wanted to do, and that's exactly what he did for A&M.
Yeah.
And I thought the way he was able to discuss like the pressures of playing at an SEC school with 10,000 people here, and you can hear the conversations, and you just want to prove that you can do everything right and hit a home run and do this and that and take for granted that you can get batting gloves when you need them and the amazing facilities and but at the end of the day, baseball is baseball. And that's why going to a San Ed's or going to a Lamar or going to an A&M, right? Like at the end of the day, the sport is the same. And just getting your mind right, especially in baseball, I think is really important. So it was good to catch up with him. I'm not into the Bananas, but I did kind of get into. I didn't go to when they were here at Kyle Field. It's just I don't watch the Globetrotters. I'm not saying it's a different brand of. They're trying to do 2 different things, but in my head it automatically goes to the circus catches and stuff like that. That's cool. It's just not my thing, but I appreciate it. And if I see it on YouTube or on Twitter, I'll stop and that's a cool play. But I did get captivated, kind of like I think some Americans are with the World Cup. When the Bananas were here, I remember we went out to dinner and it was on the TV. And it was here in Kyle Field, and everybody was like kind of glued to it. And I think if you got an Aggie who plays for the Bananas, or who's the other team? There's a Texas team.
There's a bunch, Texas Tailgaters.
The Tailgaters.
Like 4 other teams too. So
so I think that'd be. I
feel like a lot of Aggies would tune in, especially if a recent graduate was on the Savannah Bananas. I think it would be such a spectacle, and like you were saying, people just kind of watch it on TV and it's like, oh, like that's kind of cool. Like there's athletic plays, there's different things that entice you to watch it. And I think, I don't follow it regularly, but if it's on TV and I'm just flipping around, I'm like, oh, it's a Bananas game. Okay.
And to me, he could, sorry, David, to cut you off there, but he would fill a niche, right? Like you got jacked guys, you got dudes that make all these crazy plays. Travis is really freaking fast. He can steal bases. He could probably steal home. So to me, that's his attribute that would make him a good Savannah Banana.
Definitely.
I don't know if there's a competitor to the Bananas like that does something similar. But recently, I saw something on Twitter where a guy there was a pop fly and he caught it under his legs. I don't know if the radio audience can see it. Like that would be so dangerous for obvious reasons. Like, how do you do that? How do you practice that? Like that could end very poorly, Nick.
I'd like to see you try that. How many? If you got 20 balls, do you think you could catch one?
What?
20 fly balls. Could you make a catch on your legs?
Like a real fly ball or a little kid toss?
Real fly ball.
No.
I think a good content idea would be OB trying to do PKs against the women's goalkeeper and David trying to make trick shot catches with baseballs.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and tell you, my body's my temple. I'm not putting it in harm, okay? We'll just leave it at that. All right, we'll hit a break. We'll come back. Chris Lowe of On 3 will join us. Right now, a moment for Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online at caldwellcountrychevrolet.com. If you're in the market for a new vehicle, you owe it to yourself to check out the selection at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. They're stocked up and ready to deal on everything on their lot, and they have from trucks to SUVs to sedans, you name it. They're locally owned, and their Aggie alumni team knows how to take care of their customers. That is why every vehicle comes with that free oil change for life. That is real value that keeps paying you back year after year. Stop selling for big city prices. Come see the difference a hometown dealership makes when you go there and you see all the great people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Remember, it's about a 15-minute drive, the edge of Bryant to the beginnings of Caldwell. Short conversation away, but you'll see the difference when you step on the lot and do business with the good people at Caldwell Country Chevrolet. Highway 21 in Caldwell, online, CaldwellCountryChevrolet.com. Now, I promise I didn't know this when I booked him yesterday, but just a little while ago, 2 hours ago on On3, SEC quarterback rankings, top 10 signal callers heading into the 2026 season. And just like that, we got Chris Lowe from On3 on the program to talk about that and much, much more. Chris, how you doing, sir?
I'm doing great. It's good to be with you.
Thanks for joining us, and I'm sure we'll talk again here in a month when SEC Media Days gets cracking. But I want folks to obviously read your article. What can you tell us about Marcel Reed and how he kind of fell in your rankings?
You know, there was really about, 4 or 5 quarterbacks that I went back and forth on trying to figure out where to, rank them and talk to people all across the SEC, talk to some NFL people. This is not a ranking of the top draft picks at quarterback. If that were the case, Gunnar Stockton wouldn't be 3, but more the impact that, and there's some projection obviously involved, the impact we think the quarterbacks will have on their teams in this season. The thing about Marcel that I kept hearing over and over again was if he takes the kind of jump from last year to this year that he did from 2 years ago to this year, then he certainly has a chance to move up in the rankings. The only thing he didn't do great last year, honestly, is much like the team, he didn't have a great close to the season. But I don't think, 2 games define who you are as a player, as a quarterback. But that's, the facts are facts. He just didn't. He didn't play his best football. He'll tell you that. Mike Elko will tell you that in those last 2 games. But he grew up a lot. I think the thing that Mike Elko was most encouraged by is that now as he goes into his 3rd season as a starter, that he really understands what it takes to be a quarterback in the SEC. And it is willing to use the people around him. Doesn't feel like it's all on his shoulders. And I like what A&M did, to bring in Isaiah Horton, that guy on the outside, the big physical guy who can win one-on-one matchups is huge because you've already got Mario Craver, who is just a nightmare with his speed and ability to get open. I think the thing, too, with one returning starter come back on the offensive line, and they like who they brought in. But as you know, man, it takes some time to get that continuity right in the offensive line. But no, I think there's a lot to like about Marcel. He's a tough kid. And I think when I look at quarterbacks, I always look at, and I was there this spring, how do the guys in the locker room rally around him? Do they believe in him? And clearly they do. But no, I think there's a lot of quarterbacks in this league right now that you could sort of bunch together. The thing that stuck out to me, though, about quarterbacks in the SEC, and I think I noted this in the story, 9 of the 10 that we ranked are at least their 4th year of eligibility, which tells you, man, in this day and age of college football, experience at that position is everything.
Chris, I want to go back to something you said because I think, we've been fighting the good fight for Marcel. Like, we see some of the issues, no doubt. The turnovers have got to get better. But the way he finished the season sometimes overlaps the entire body of work where he was a Heisman contender until the last game of the season. Right. And I'm going to bring up Arch, who I think was praised too much initially. Then I think people were too critical of him. Finished the season with 2 really good games at the end, or great games, if you want to call it that. And so sometimes people hold on to, I think, a bit too much the end as opposed to the entire story.
Yeah, they do. And I think that's why when you're a quarterback, probably more so than any other position in sports, they do remember what you did most recently. Did you win the big games? I think Texas and Arch won 3 top 15 games in that stretch where he finished the last, 7, 8 games. He had 20 touchdowns and just a couple of turnovers. But I think we probably, too, when you talk to people about quarterbacks, people that know a whole lot more about them than I do, when you look at pro potential, sometimes that has a way of factoring into these decisions. I try not to make it be a big part of what I did because, again, if I did, then certainly Gunnar Stockton wouldn't be 3. But I just think it's hard to rank quarterbacks sometimes going into a season. You never know who's going to get hurt, who's going to be a guy that gets the support around him. Because a lot of times, as I mentioned a minute ago about guys like Isaiah Horton, you need a guy like Wilkin Formby to come through on the offensive line. The 2 LSU kids, those guys need to come through and do a better job maybe of protecting him in the bigger games. But it's so much what you have around you. And I think when you look at the skilled people that Mike has brought in and continues to bring in, that's been a big priority of his, to get better and faster and more explosive at those positions. Then Marcel has a better chance to have that season where, like you said, it's not just you don't look at 2 or 3 games and say, well, he didn't play as well in those games. I mean, I go back to the South Carolina game that A&M was done. They were dead and buried. And look at the way And I think that game gets lost in the shuffle. Those last two games, look at the way he sort of helped bring them back in that game. So we've seen that in him. And again, I think the fact that he's played a lot. There's probably, I would say he's right there at the top of quarterbacks with not just experience, but with SEC experience. I think I put this in the story. I'm not sure anybody is more experienced in playing against SEC teams at that position than Marcel.
Talking to Chris Lowe here on TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. Chris, in your opinion, why does this Mike Elko era feel like a sustainable project? What is it about the way he goes about his business that, regardless of what happens this season, very tough road schedule, we all know that. Everybody in the SEC now with 9 games will have that. But why does it feel like this project with Mike Elko seems like it can last and not just be a one-year blip?
His development of players, quite simply. The way kids have gotten better on his watch and continue to get better. And again, as I said a minute ago about Marcel, I think he will make the kind of jump or close to the kind of jump from last year to this year that he made 2 years ago. But you look at younger players on that team, guys that didn't play as much, true sophomores, for instance, guys like Noah McHale, Marco Jones. Those guys, I bet you, when we're talking this time next year, we're going to talk about those two guys who just completely blew up and had great years. And you see that throughout the program. Even when he brings in guys from other schools, the edge rusher from Northwestern, I think he's a guy you talk to people in the Big Ten. Yeah, he's got a lot of ability. He played pretty well in stretches. I bet you under Mike Elko, he does that more consistently. Again, that gets back to the development of players and teams. The way his team has gotten better. The thing I think that's hardest for them this year, and everybody talked about the way they did not finish the season last year, what they didn't do in the season. Well, guess what? I think the close of the season this year on paper is harder than it was last year. You look at their last 5 games, where they go, who they play. I don't know that you could find any football team in America that could navigate that stretch unscathed. So to me, a lot of it depends or hinges for the Aggies. How do they play early on? Do they play and not have any hiccups in the first part of their schedule and get better and stay healthy? Because, man, again, those last 5 games, in fact, I'm doing a column for On 3 that's going to run in another week or two on just sort of the schedules in general, taking a deeper dive in schedules across the country. And I can't find a more daunting close of the season than what A&M faces this year.
I got a question that came up with a buddy yesterday. I'm just curious your thoughts on this. There was a time that you had to get to the Big Ten. You had to get to the SEC. And while I still think that matters, right? Like if you're in those conferences and you're relevant, but there's a case to be made here with the current climate of college football that if you're in the Big 12, if you're in the ACC, and you have NIL, being a sustainable project and getting to the playoffs every year might be better than being an 8-4 team in the SEC.
Yeah, you wait till this year. There are going to be some fan bases and donors and ADs, media members such as us, who are going to have to sort of reprogram their minds a little bit about what success is or isn't in the SEC when we go to 9 league games. Because remember, the SEC is the only conference in America now that requires its schools to play 10 Power 4 teams. You look at the 9 league games, and then everyone's got what the league mandates to have a non-conference game against either Notre Dame or a Power 4 conference team. So what's the translation? The translation is there's going to be a lot of 9-3 teams. There's going to be a lot of Texases out there this year. I use Texas from last year as an example, that are really good football teams in the SEC that have won some key games, who have really good, deep, talented rosters. They're going to be sitting there at 9-3 and on the cusp, and we're going to find out. We're going to find out this year. This is going to be a litmus test for the selection committee. Are they going to take a team that's 9-3, has got some quality wins, but some tough losses on the road because they had to play 9 league games? Are we going to finally see a 3-loss team in the regular season that makes the playoff? Because we haven't seen that yet as an at-large team. Clemson got in 2 years ago with 3 losses, but remember, they won the ACC championship. Bama got in last year with 3 losses, but one of those losses was in the SEC championship game. So is this the first time we see whoever it is, Texas A&M and LSU or Georgia, Texas, that loses 3 games against a really tough schedule and yet has some quality wins, do they slip in as one of those 10, 11, or last 3 teams in the playoff?
Could you see a world where the SEC goes backwards, where they're like, they don't get a team that's 9-3 in, and there's some 11-1 team in the Big 12 ACC that gets in over them? They're like, you know what, we're just going to go back to the 8 games. Like, this is not worth it since the coaches are against it. Do you see that, or no? They're going down this path.
Well, I think it's probably that question is probably going to answer itself, because I do think we're going to expand finally, and I think it's going to go to 24 teams. Maybe not immediately, but I do think we're going to get to 24 within a year or two. And then when that happens, it's probably not as big a deal that you're playing 9 league games. When we have that many teams. I mean, think about it last year, or even the last 2 years, how many teams from the SEC would have gotten in if you had 24 teams. So I think that's probably going to take care of itself. But this year is a whole different matter, because this is the first time we've seen 9 league games in the SEC. And you're right, coaches don't like. Coaches were very much under the impression that if they went to a 9th league game, the playoff would expand. Well, it didn't, because the Big Ten and the SEC couldn't agree. So it stayed at 12. Now, if we were to stay at 12, there's a scenario where we stay at 12 for the next 3 or 4 years, then perhaps, to your question, perhaps we see the SEC go back. I know Greg Sankey very much wants to play 9 games to help balance the schedule. Listen, you're going to have more TV money. There are going to be more attractive matchups. And I'm of the mind, if I were a coach, I wouldn't want to play another league game with only 12 teams. I get why, because it makes it so hard to want to go out and play. If you're Texas A&M, do you want to go play a Notre Dame? Is there any value in that as far as getting into the playoff? So I get that, but as a football junkie, I want to see more matchups within the SEC that we don't get to see. I mean, you know the stat: Georgia's never played at Kyle Field ever. Think about that. A&M's been in the league since 12, and that to me is not very representative of what a conference should be when you have 2 top-tier programs like that, 2 programs steeped in tradition with great fan bases, great home venues, and one school, Georgia's never played there before. So from that point, or from that perspective, I'm glad we got 9 games, but I get it from a coach's perspective that, you want to make the playoff, where you're judged on if you make the playoff, and if you don't, it's a bad season. I think that does change a little bit once we go to 24, because I think then just merely making the playoff is not as big a deal.
Chris, this was great, man. We'll talk to you next month in Tampa, buddy, or here this month, in a couple of weeks.
You bet.
Thank you.
Take care.
Chris Lowe there on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Great work on 3. We'll hit a break. We'll come back with an open segment before the 10 o'clock hour where we'll get Billy. Right now, if you're looking for real peace of mind when it comes to your money, check out Aggie-owned Paragon Financial Advisors. They're an independent fiduciary serving clients all across Texas. No sales pitches, no commissions, just honest financial planning and investment management. And what really sets them apart is the 9 CFPs, the CFA, the CPA, all on staff. They take their credentials seriously, and they work tirelessly to help you build a future that you can feel good about. Go to paragon-adv.com or give them a call at 979-693-3907 to schedule your free consultation today. It is Paragon Financial Advisors, integrity, expertise, and trust. Paragon Financial Advisors. Hey everyone, David Nuno of TexAgs Live, and I'm here with Brandon Moreau of Brazos Valley Floor and Design. They're a family-owned business, and Brandon used to work for the A&M football team, the Texans, you name it. Brandon, tell us a little bit about Brazos Valley Floor and Design.
Yeah, like you said, family business. We started in 1999. It was in a small feed store, and about 4 years later, my dad decided he wanted to grow the business and kind of focus on that. So we're in the location we are at now, and we have a large showroom with salespeople with designer experience, a lot of stocking power, and we catered a lot to residential builders, and we do a little commercial work as well.
Tell me about your other company as well, Premier Countertop Design.
Yeah, Premier Countertop Design is right there on site, so it's kind of a one-stop shop. People can come by, they can look at their slabs that they're going to cut, they're going to compare to their cabinet colors, their backsplash that they're going to do at our flooring store, and we have a lot of digital. We're doing a lot of digital stuff. We're templating, water jet, laser measuring, all different things like that.
So tell me a little bit about what sets you guys apart from the rest of the competition.
I think just being here in the community for 27 years in business, and our vendors that we have the relationships with, the pricing we can get because of how much we can buy in stock and things like that. And then as far as the countertop business, it's just the way we can be precise with what we do.
All right, there you have it, guys. Check out the website, bvflooranddesign.com and premiercountertopdesign.com. What a fast Monday show it's been so far. Just an hour and some change left. Billy will join us during the 10 o'clock hour, as he always does on Mondays and Fridays. Let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Kayla Gaither, what's popping on TexAgs today?
Before I get into what is on TexAgs today, I just want to say it's never a better time to become a TexAgs premium subscriber because there's so much content, even in the summer months, coming out on the site. Today we have Olin's trivia article. If you haven't read it, it's a really great read and test your trivia on some A&M football knowledge from the SEC. We have Lunch with Liucci from Thursday's show that's sponsored by the 12th Man Foundation. We have a baseball transfer Alec Blair interview with Richard. Stephen McGee's segment from Thursday, also sponsored by Paragon Financial. And Jason Howell's 3 Things, sponsored by Hudson Oaks. And then later today, the Captain's Lunch video with Billy Liucci will be on the site. So that'll be a very interesting watch. I know Billy and the Captains have really been pushing for the video, so I'm excited to watch it later.
So let's go back to something that Chris and I were talking about. I am not suggesting that teams like A&M or anybody should leave these big conferences. Okay, that's not my suggestion. But the way the current climate is in college football, you got X amount of dollars to spend. Now, I don't think a team like Texas Tech, who's been through the gauntlet, will win a national championship. They might. I mean, when you get that much talent in a room, like I'm not saying this year, but I'm not saying an ACC team almost won it last year, right? Like Miami came dangerously close to not making the playoffs and then almost winning the whole damn thing, right? So there's no complete answer for anything, but I'm just talking out loud. If you've got, in the current climate, which by the way, we don't know what the climate's going to look like in 10 years, does it make more sense to be in a Big 12 or an ACC where the schedule's easier? If you've got more money than everybody else in your conference, you're going to get your 10-2 every year and get to the playoffs, right? Is that more important than, competing against 10 teams with the exact same resources that you have, or 12 teams or 14 teams, and then just hoping you got the right coach?
Yeah.
But as Chris said, if they do expand to 24 teams, then it does even it out, and the SEC would be more dominant in that world. It's funny because when it was just 2 teams, it was always the SEC. It was 4 teams, it was usually the SEC, and now it's not the SEC.
You know what deal I want, David?
What's that?
I want the Notre Dame deal.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
I want the Notre Dame
They didn't
deal.
make it last year, though, buddy.
But now it's basically written in that if they have a pulse, they're in.
It was written, Nas, 1996. TexAgs Live, we'll be back. And we are back. We call it TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner Shielders. We are in the Rollo Insurance Studio. Excuse me. We're going to call Billy Liucci here on the phone here in a moment. But let's go to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. And Kayla Gaither has got some questions that have been appearing on the YouTube chat and on TexAgs chat and everywhere.
On the text line, too. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So Shane in South Carolina texted in this question, said, David, I don't know which penalty irks me more. The subjective red card where you have to play a man down and precludes you from playing the next game, or the 50-yard pass interference call in the NFL. Curious your thoughts.
I just look at rules as rules, and I like it is what it is, right? Like so. I don't like, unless it helps, of course. Okay, let's make sure that we're all answering this correctly. Mm-hmm. The 50-yard pass interference call, I hate when it's against me. I love it when it helps me.
Yeah.
Because like last play of the game, throw it, pass interference, 1 yard line, win, right? Like I hate that.
Yeah.
I don't like being penalized for future games. I wish soccer would get kind of like what the NBA does with, a flagrant 1 or a flagrant 2. Like, assess the situation. If somebody's going headhunting to try to hurt you, that would be a red card worthy of a flagrant 2.
Yeah.
If it's just like you weren't supposed to step on the ankle, you accidentally did, red card 1. That's the way I look at it. So, what was the other question?
So the other question on the forums over the weekend, Aggie Rush 99 asked, what is one Aggie game that we lost that you still find yourself watching highlights from time to time? I can't stomach most of it, but I'll admit I watched the Clemson 2018 highlights as one example. So,
are you saying that or he's saying that?
He said that in his forum. I'm
going to just give a couple things that I think about. I absolutely think about the 2011 Texas game. Okay? Mm-hmm. All Aggies hated that game for multiple reasons. It's not just that Texas hit the game-winning field goal. I hate that one. The UCLA 2017 comeback still eats at me.
That was a popular answer on this forum.
Because I was on the set with I've told this story 100 times, but I was on the set with Tom Abrams at Channel 13 at the time. His daughter went to UCLA. He congratulated me at halftime. Hey, great win. And I famously told him on the air, like, buddy, I went to A&M. These games are never done.
Yeah.
And then they came back and won. So there's that one. There's the LSU game in 2021 that I think about. The Alabama game in 2022 that I think about. Let's ask Billy Liucci that on the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Billy, good morning, sir. How are you?
Hello, David.
Hello.
Buddy.
Hey, so this question came up from Kayla Gaither from the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. She read it on the board. She'll ask you.
All right, Billy, here's the question. Aggie Rush 99 asked, what is one Aggie game that we lost that you still find yourself watching highlights from time to time?
Oh, good question. I would say, probably the 2013 Alabama A&M game. Mm-hmm. Those highlights come up so often with the 95-yard touchdown, Johnny DeMite. That's the game where Johnny threw that crazy 8-second scramble up for grabs to Ed Pope. Probably that would be the first one that comes to mind. If there's another one, I'd probably say the 2000 Oklahoma game. And it was the run where Jamar Toombs carried half of the OU defense into the end zone. Oklahoma was number 1. I think I could be crazy thinking that. I think this is the first time game day was here. That was a day, man. They couldn't stop Robert Ferguson, Ferris to Ferguson all day, and then we had the pick six there at the end that cost it. But I think that was 35-31, and that was one of those. I would say those two really stand out. And if you're low key wanting a highly entertaining basketball game that A&M lost, that I for a little bit I'd see highlights of that and watch it. Now they've kind of gone away, but it was
Memphis.
A&M versus Kentucky. No, A&M versus Kentucky in the SEC title game. In the SEC tournament championship game, it was Caruso and Murray was going off for Kentucky, who's obviously still a great player in the NBA, but they were just kind of going back and forth down the stretch there. And I think pretty sure that was an overtime SEC championship game between those two teams, and A&M had beaten them in the regular season, and then Kentucky came back and won it after that.
Billy, a couple that I thought of. First off, from a basketball perspective, I do think about that 2007 game in San Antonio versus Memphis, where A&M lost, 65-64. And that one I think about because of the, oh my gosh, we had it moments, right, of that one.
Yeah.
And then I threw out.
I can still replay all those missed rebounds.
Yep.
They missed about 4 rebounds there, and if they get one, that game's over. Everybody talks about like a missed layup, or it was to me it was more about you had like 4 chances to grab 1 rebound there, and you're going to the line to kind of ice the game, and they couldn't do it.
It all worked out, I think, the way it's supposed to. But the 2017 UCLA game, it still eats at me, Billy. That one, because
well, you're going down 2 different paths here. I mean, would you want to watch any bit of you? See, like
I don't watch loss highlights. I don't. I'm out.
Yeah, like to me, like the UCLA game, I would never want to see a play of that game ever. And I have obviously, but that was a game A&M was dominating, should have won, way better, should have been a way better football team. Like I think a lot of incompetence down the stretch. Plus, if Starkle doesn't get hurt, they probably rolled through that one. Not that Nick was going to go on to be a star, but on that day, rather than a true freshman in Kellen who never played, but they also just refused to let Kellen really throw, then, they weren't burning enough clock. It was just like, to me, that I think what the question was like, in the way I understood it anyway, and the way I understood it was like, it was just such an epic, exciting game that you just, even though your team lost, you're going to rewatch it time and time again. Like the Miami football game, like that was as competitive as it gets. I mean, it was 3-3 with a minute and a half left. And then you took the ball, went right down and had 3 shots from the 5-yard line to tie it or try to win it at the end. And so, I mean, like from a competitive standpoint, but like I haven't, other than like my normal rewatch after a game, I haven't really like dove back into like, because there just weren't a lot of highlights. It wasn't what I would call, it wasn't an exciting, let's rewatch this kind of game. It's more of a let's rewatch this and learn from it and kind of look and see who did what. Like, when I rewatch, I'm like, okay, Gordon Shaw impressed me there more so than I thought, watching it. Like just things like that. But I've read that one as, hey, what was really exciting? Like, here's one for you. And it actually came up when I was actually have talked about this one with Kevin Durant recently, and that was the loss in Austin.
Mm-hmm.
If you put on highlights of that to me right now, I'd watch. It was AC Law v. Kevin Durant, probably the 2 best players in college basketball that year. And I think combined, they hit like 2 each, just absolute clutch, just stones shots, either buzzer beater or like dagger shots or ones that kind of forced overtime or the second overtime even. So those games, that one right there, you pop in highlights, I'm watching. And so that's kind of how I read it, where it's like you lost, but it was such a great, memorable game that you'll watch it again.
See, I think you answered the question correctly. I just don't watch losses because they make me angry. So I looked at the question like, what are games that I just in my head can't wrap myself around?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And like, I think.
Well, we all have a lot of those.
Yeah. And that's why I thought of 2017. Like, well, what in the world? I even thought about, and it wouldn't have made that much of a difference. It would have made a difference aesthetically, but the LSU loss in 21, the Damani Richardson strip play. I think about that all the time.
Oh, yeah.
I think about the Alabama game in 22, the pass to Evan Stewart that didn't work out at the end. Like I think about it just because like it was there. But you answered the question correctly. Yeah. All right, I got one for you. Who is college football's most misunderstood team entering the 2026 season? And what I'm saying is like who are we evaluating based on outdated, incomplete, flat out wrong understanding of what they actually are in 2026?
I'm going to go two ways with it.
Okay.
It could be Oklahoma. And I hope it's not, because that'll make A&M's schedule that much tougher. But, I'm not buying what they're trying to sell me in Norman. In Norman, the fans make fun of, like, my God, how far have we come since the Speed D days? Remember Speed D? And it's like, you guys were the ones hyping it up. You were telling us it was going to revolutionize college football. Gritch and the Speed D, where you get shoved around by everyone because you're small, but you're really fast. Like, they tried to make that in such a big deal. So I'm not, and then they did it with Mateer last year. Like, I'm not buying what they're selling, but I do think it's within the world of possibility that, with Kevin Wilson, he's a really good offensive mind and he's come on to help. Like, I could see them if they can fix the run game with that defense. So forget about, like, Mateer wouldn't even have to star in that instance. But Mateer, Satania, if they can fix the run game, because they were inept running the football last year, it's why they couldn't score in a lot of these, important games. Then I think they could be a really tough out. I'm just not buying that it's automatically going to happen. I've seen enough. I've heard enough from that, that corner of the world since Brent Venables has been there. And maybe the Speed D, I guess the Speed D was late Lincoln Riley, where they thought they had fixed it. But I've just heard enough to not just buy in and assume. So if we're not going to assume that A&M's going to line up and run the hell out of the ball, because they've shown it in 2 years under Elko, if we're not going to assume that because they lost linemen and replaced them with portal guys, then we're damn sure not going to assume OU can. But if that's the case, then I do think they're pretty misunderstood, because they could be wow. My other one to me is probably it might be it's not Alabama, because I think people are questioning. I think people are questioning Bama. I think people are questioning them enough. Like, it's not. I don't know, who did you pick there?
Well, I thought about a couple things. I did think Alabama, because I think there's a misunderstanding. There are some that still inflate Alabama because they're Alabama, and I think there's others that look at them as like this sinking ship. That, yeah, they're not the Saban version of Alabama, but they did win a playoff game last year. So, like, they're not as bad as, like, we would have loved to have had that, right? Now they got embarrassed in their first playoff or their second playoff game, but Indiana embarrassed a lot of teams.
Yeah, what did Indiana do to Oregon?
Right.
Oregon's pretty. It's funny because everyone's down on DeBoer and Bama for getting smoked by Indiana, and they did beat OU, which is kind of the same thing as Oregon beating Tech, I guess. I mean, Oregon won at home. Oregon. That game was that was neutral. But Oregon beat Tech, same as Bama beat OU. I don't think those games are that much different, to be honest. I know Tech was seeded a lot higher, and then they both got smoked by Indiana. So when that happened, I mean, like, people aren't trashing Dan Lanning. I mean, they're saying, hey, it's time for Lanning to make, not get blown out in the postseason. But, I mean, everybody's super high on Oregon. And like you said, everybody's super skeptical of Bama. And I'll admit, like, when I'm looking at that schedule and I'm thinking of toughest games, I'm thinking Texas. I'm thinking in Norman. And then my debate becomes, am I looking at it? To me, that third toughest game is like, is it at Bama or is it at LSU? So it's like, I'm kind of going, yeah, I think that's a toss-up in Tuscaloosa. And it's like, when have we ever said that? And yeah, they were a playoff team last year. So we'll see. I just think they've lost a lot And at the end of the day, they are going to have a first-year starter at quarterback. So there is that as well.
Here's one for you, Billy. Texas Tech, and I don't know if there's a misunderstanding, but I think there's two schools of thought. Some would say Tech is underrated because of its history, their schedule in the Big 12. And then there's another world where people are saying they're overrated because of their bank account.
I mean, shoot. Look, they return enough and add enough, particularly add enough in that portal, that with how they played defense last year and their scheme and style of play, that I would assume they're going to be really good defensively. Offensively, without Sorsby, and with Hammond coming back from that knee injury, I don't think there's much to be misunderstood. They ought to not be real potent on offense, and they ought to be really good on defense. And they don't play anyone, and it has nothing. It does have to do with how they stand, because that talks about the roster they have. But I mean, I think they should be on the bottom side of the top 10. And, that's no insult. That's where I think A&M should start out somewhere similar. The problem that I have, and it has nothing to do with how they're perceived, it's just my issue with them is that they're going to kind of, coast, whereas other teams can't. And so they're going to start out at a certain point, and as other teams lose conference games, tough non-conference matchups, which Tech has neither of the above, Tech's going to just kind of creep up the rankings. And you're going to look up, and they're going to be in that top 4 again. And none of these talking heads that whether we want to acknowledge it or not, move the needle, none of them are going to stand up and yell and scream and say it's ridiculous because they haven't played anyone. But they'll do that to other teams, and they did it to A&M last year, even though they played people, which is so weird. But then it was like, they haven't played anyone except Notre Dame. Well, you all told us they were going to lose to LSU, and they were going to lose to, they might lose at Missouri. They might, we heard all that, and it didn't happen. But and they didn't play anyone. But no one ever said that about Tech. And so I've said it before. I don't know why I went down that road again, but that's my issue with the whole system and the Red Raiders. And with the SEC adding a 9th conference game, it gets even crazy.
Bill, I got one more for you. Go ahead.
I don't care. Just let their seed bake in the fact that they didn't beat anyone worthwhile. And we're assuming, U of H could end up being really good. Arizona State could walk into Kyle Field and beat A&M. I don't believe that would happen, but if it did, and U of H was winning a lot, I guess you could see it, but no. I mean, it's just not going to. They're not going to play a tough schedule. So bake that into their seeding, and when they're 12-1, don't rank them. Don't give them Griffey. Hold on. Don't give them a 4 seed. Just don't do it. Just they are okay. Sorry, Tech. You're not the 4. You're the 7 because you didn't play anyone. So we put a 10-2 or 10-2 team ahead of your 11-1 team because we think on that schedule you might have been 9-3. Just as long as they do that.
Billy, what about Ole Miss? I think there's a school of thought that a lot of people feel with Lane leaving, it's a regression regardless. Do you feel that way? Or do you have, obviously he took the whole staff with him, but they still have Trinidad Chambliss. So when we're talking about just 2026, not big picture what Ole Miss is going to be, is there a misunderstanding with Ole Miss this year?
No, I don't think so. I think Lane was a big deal. I don't much believe in Golding as a head coach, especially as much as I think he needs to focus on that defense, because I think he is why their defense has been good. And it's not just Lane. It's also it's Lane plus Charlie Weiss Jr. And I think that playoff run, remember, it included Charlie Weiss Jr. So I think it's both of those. I don't think it's just Lane, and I think without those two, I think we see a different offense even with Chambliss. Now, there'll be some residual, and because of that, I still think they'll be good, but I think that there's no way you can convince me that that's not going to hit them.
All right, Bill, let's hit a break here. We'll come back with more. You're listening to TexAgs Live, presented by David Gardner's Jewelers. As a reminder, the final segment of the program is brought to you by Double Dave's. That's at 10:50. But right now, caller number 12, 979-693-1150. We're going to hook you up with your choice of a dozen pepperoni rolls or a large one-topping pizza from Double Dave's. They've been serving Aggieland since 1984 with your favorite pizza. And, of course, those world-famous pepperoni rolls, reliable in-house delivery, bringing piping hot goodness straight to your door. Just click on doubledaves.com and your favorites are on their way. We go back to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Billy Liucci, the executive editor and co-owner of TexAgs, still with us. Billy, I wanted to talk to you about the national conversation around A&M starting to change. And the reason that is a topic today is a gentleman that I don't remember speaking very great about A&M in the past wrote a pretty good article on A&M on why A&M's continued huge investment in football could be different this time around. That's Ari Wasserman. I'm not saying he's been mean, but like it seems like in the past he has not written so glowingly about A&M. And I feel like we're seeing a little bit more of that. And I would assume the biggest reason is because Coach Elko.
Yeah, I mean, any positivity now versus in the past definitely has to do with not just the hiring of Coach Elko, which I think a lot of people thought was a good hire for A&M outside of, the national types, but really ever since he got on the job, just kind of how he's handled media, and then the results on the field, and now more recently in the NFL draft and roster management, like things that people are really starting to pay attention to, recruiting. I think it's hard to be looking at this from the outside, from outside of a kind of skeptical A&M fan lens. And that's not what you're looking through. And I get that because, as much as, I've talked to Coach Elko a lot about that. As much as you'd love to get that, to where it's not an issue, that comes with winning. That's what it comes from. And so with that said, I think they're not looking at it that way. They're looking at it as this is the current coach, and this is what he's done since he's been at A&M. This is what we care about as analysts, as people covering the game. We're trying to break down this year and the years to come. So I don't think Ari's necessarily been like an anti-A&M guy. And look, I'll tell you, there are people like that, but I wouldn't say he's one of them. I would say I've definitely noticed him really warming up to the trajectory of A&M under Elko this offseason. But I think, there were times, I believe even under Jimbo, where Ari was pretty high on A&M. And I think, like a lot of people got burnt by that, but I don't think he holds it against them. I think he's a guy that just really tries to do the here and now.
Well, one of the things that I read, Billy, that I thought was interesting is part of Ari's argument about A&M. It's not that it has the money. It's always had the money. It's basically pairing the money with the right football operations. He writes essentially A&M's always had the funds, but now they're spending them properly.
I mean, is this all about the 22 class? I mean,
I'm just saying in general, A&M is doing business the right way.
I don't know. I just don't know what that means other than to say Mike Elko knows what he's doing in constructing his roster. Like, I've been saying that for 2 years, and it's just got, as he's gotten more money through NIL and rev share stuff, as that roster, as that payroll has gone up, that salary cap has gone up. He's obviously going to be able to build a better roster. It's the same for Oregon. It's the same for, LSU. It's the same for Ohio State, Texas Tech, Texas, everybody. But prior to that, like, you can say Jimbo and you can go, well, they didn't spend their money. That was early stages. NIL really exploded in the last couple of years. So, like, really all you're talking about with that is the 22 class. And it's like that has left such a stigma on people on the way. Because, like, what was A&M spending their money wrong on prior to NIL? A stadium? A badass stadium? Incredible facilities? Like, what were they spending money wrong on prior to that? So you start with NIL era, and you can go back to the 22 class, and it's like everyone's still kind of that's kind of a stigma that people put on A&M. So I think ever since Elko's been here, it's just it goes back to what I say all the time. And all these programs have struggled for a long time that no one could figure out why, including Miami. They just didn't have the right guy. They just did not have the right guy, period, leading the charge. And like I said a million times, someone got it close early. Jimbo got it close there in years 3 and 4. They couldn't get it over the hump, and kind of some of the shortcomings and flaws and how they were doing things caught up to them, because it's going to do that. And it caught up to a lot of coaches at a lot of places that have won a lot more than A&M, where they had really lean decades. They've had really lean 20-year stretches, programs you would never expect, right? It's about getting the right guy. And in today's day and age, the right guy has to know how to wisely spend their money. That's not specific to Mike Elko, but I think it's very clear that he and his staff and Derek Miller and that recruiting staff and the roster management process here is really good. And so they're doing a great job of that. And that these days might be 50% of the battle in college football.
Billy, I'm embarrassed to admit I've never had the signature Fertella at Fertella. Have you had it before?
Yes, I have. And it's delicious. I mean, I don't know how to describe it. How do they describe it? I mean, to me, it's like a thinner, less thick of a crusty calzone, but it's a little more of like a fried outside. It's really good, but it's not like a.
Yeah, they say it's like a calzone, but fried to golden perfection, stuffed with marinara, mozzarella, and your choice of a delicious filling. So I'm going to try that.
Yeah.
I'm going to try that. Their pizza.
You really should.
Go ahead.
I'll split one with you so we could try a couple things.
All right, we'll do that. They have pizza as well. They've got the Copper Dome pizza oven, turns out thin crust Roman-style pizzas that are crispy, flavorful, and forgettable. Stop by Fertella Italian Cafe, 3901 South Texas Avenue in Bryan, and discover why it's more than a meal. It's a tradition. It's Fertella. Everyone, David Nuno here for Allen Honda. Had a great conversation with them earlier today. John Allen's the owner. He's been here forever. And also their GM, Rusty Skinner, great guy. Wonderful conversation. They're super local. They're a family-owned dealership, not some massive auto group. And they treat their customers like family because they basically are family. They're Aggie alums. They love Aggie sports, and they've been serving the Brazos Valley with integrity, with passion, and commitment to excellence for over 50 years, which is very rare, by the way, for the independents because people trust them. And that's why they've been doing it for such a long time. Whether you're looking to buy, lease, or service your vehicle, you can count on them for transparent, no-pressure experience that puts your needs first. And I can attest to it. Had a great conversation about my own situation with them. Their knowledgeable sales team will help you find the perfect Honda to fit your lifestyle, from fuel-efficient sedans to versatile SUVs. Leasing options are flexible and affordable, making it easy to drive the latest models with confidence. And when it comes to service, their certified technicians only use genuine Honda parts to keep your vehicle running at its best, whether it's routine maintenance for major repairs or whatever it may be. And we know that trust isn't given, it is earned, and that's why generations of local drivers right here in the Brazos Valley and Bryan College Station keep coming back to Allen Honda. As part of the community with Aggie spirit in their hearts, they are here to make everyone's visit wonderful. So visit their showroom or their service lane and find friendly, efficient, and memorable situations when you go to Allen Honda. Come see why so many College Station and Bryan drivers choose Allen Honda for their automotive needs, and remember, gig 'em. We are back here on TexAgs Live. We are presented by David Gardner's Jewelers, Rollo Insurance Studio. We go back to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Billy Liucci joining us here on the program. Billy, how was your World Cup experience?
Oh, it was good. I enjoyed it. I think you went to Paraguay.
I went to Portugal versus Congo.
Yeah, so you had Ronaldo. So I think you probably got a little different atmosphere there with, if you go with, if it's Messi or Ronaldo, I think you get a little bit different. We're one of these teams, I think, that really, with the wild traveling fan base that truly believes they're going to win the World Cup, and they all came over, to the U.S. for I think you get a little different environment. This was Canada and Morocco, but it was really cool. I don't think the stadium, I don't know what they do differently in there in terms of concessions and lines getting in and traffic getting out. It's almost like the city of Houston just said screw it, and they're just not involved. I don't know what the deal was, but everything about that was horrific. And I normally don't care, but even getting from your section to the area where you get concessions, the concession lines, the traffic to the stadium, the lines to get in the 100-degree heat, it was super, super Bush League. I don't know if that's a FIFA thing and the way they do it, because it was kind of rough getting into Kyle Field that night too.
I think it's a FIFA thing because NRG was the same way.
Yeah. So and that's where I was. I was at NRG.
Oh,
but yeah. So it was just strange. But otherwise, the actual event, the match, it was fun. It was 1-0 until 1-0, 1-0, whatever. Right up until about the last few minutes, and then Morocco scored twice. So I thought it was good. I've obviously been watching it. I'm a big Colin guy now. I like him. I'm a big fan of that guy and his song in Norway. And even though Bronny's one of his remaining teams from our draft, I'll pull for them. I think they're fun to watch. I'd like to see them beat England in the next round and keep going. I've been caught in a loop. This guy is like a 6'5", 220-pound Viking goal-scoring, creation who also could just as soon be Jim Carrey with all his antics and his gestures and comedic, all the body language comedy that he does. It's just he's pretty interesting. I'm going on a dive last night after their game on Instagram, just seeing all the stuff on him. He's pretty hilarious. So, anywho, late to that party, but I'm rooting for them. But no, it was them. I'd like to see them in the U.S. would they be in the final? I think that would be a final. So I don't know if they could both get there, but that would be cool.
Billy, we got a question for you from the YouTube page. We'll go back to the Angry Elephant News and Social Center. Kayla Gaither.
So this commenter on the YouTube page is asking about the national perspective on Marcel Reed. This commenter says, I don't get it. He has started for one full season, and we had one conference loss in his one season as a starter. Why are they sleeping on him?
Well, first of all, I still laugh, Nuno, that you refuse to have a back-and-forth conversation over the phone, because your people, every time I try to talk and go back and forth with you, they've cut me off so you can go, then I go, then you go, then I go. It's bizarre. But, I guess that's the way the experts at TexAgs have decided to do it. If y'all had me listening how many times I've going, well, but, and then you're already talking. With that said...
Billy, I'd like to go back and forth on soccer for a moment, if you want.
Well, I was going to tell you, I don't think it would go in my top 10 non-A&M sporting events that I've been to, in terms of atmosphere, energy, excitement. And part of it is, soccer, I enjoy it, but it's not in my top 3 sports or anything. But I'm just being real, I think it was more about Canada and Morocco than it was. That match last night in Mexico City looked like an SEC football game. That was the real deal. But for me, I'm thinking of like Final Four, Villanova, North Carolina, buzzer beater. I'm thinking McGregor, Diaz, 2 in Vegas. I'm thinking Super Bowl, Patriots, Falcons. All of those within, like, by the way, a 1-year span. That was probably the greatest sports year for things I've seen. Of course, that may have also coincided right around the time of A&M UCLA that you talked about. But those type events, so many of the March Madnesses I've been to, the Masters, obviously. Those would probably be my top 4 non-A&M, to be honest. I guess this would be in like top 10, but those are, it was cool, but it wasn't like, you check that box and go, okay, cool. I've been to a World Cup match in person, seen what that's about. But no, to answer the question that you asked more about Marcel, I saw today Chris Lowe, who was here in the spring. I spent some time with him while I was here. You know, he's a good friend of the show. Known Chris forever, but saw he had him ranked 7th in the SEC. And I saw somebody in the comments say, I have him 7th nationally. And I think he should be a lot closer to 7th nationally than 7th in the SEC, if we're being honest. I mean, like, where did he rank in terms of quarterbacks last year nationally? I mean, top 20. I think that's a conservative statement. I mean, he was in legitimate Heisman contention following South Carolina, simply as the quarterback of an 11-0 team, who, as a quarterback of a then 10-0 team, who was one of the team's better players. No matter what you think about Marcel, you can't argue and say he wasn't one of the team's better players last year. He was. I mean, it wasn't. I'm not saying he was the best. There were guys that were better. Cassius, KC, or the first that come to mind, probably Chase DeSantis and what he does. Trey Zoon was really. I mean, you had a lot of really good ones, but he was one of the better players on that team, and he was the quarterback of an undefeated SEC team through 10. I think the Stanford game actually hurt him. So everybody that, you know, outside of the conference and all the Texas fans that cry about, oh, you give me game in November, cupcake weekend for the SEC. That actually, I think, hurt Marcel's momentum quite a bit. He might have had 3 touchdowns. He threw for like 100 yards, didn't even play a whole half. That's not the time of year you'd really prefer that, right? So, and they won't have that this year because about that weekend in Norman, Oklahoma against that OU defense. So, but to me, Marcel was really damn good last year. People forget, and they want to point out Texas and Miami, and then they don't want to point out what others did against Miami down the stretch there, or did not do. They want to talk about the Texas game, and they don't want to talk about Notre Dame. Guy had 397 yards of offense in South Bend, Indiana, in a victory that also included him throwing the game-winning touchdown pass down 6 with, seconds left on 4th and 13. So this is what Texas fans will do. They'll say, well, Ohio State, we don't really count that. That was early in the season. It was Arch's first star or third star, blah, blah, blah. But, man, look what he did against A&M. And even Aggies, I find, will do some of this. They'll be like, look at Marcel against Texas when he ran into a real defense. I got news for you. Notre Dame was a real defense. Mm-hmm. And if you go back, if that team would have made the playoffs, they could have won a few games based on the strength of not just that running game and quarterback, but the defense. And that's why I'm not sure they wouldn't have been Miami just off of that. So it's crazy, the goalpost moving that people will do to paint a negative creation of Marcel, but to paint a positive creation of other quarterbacks, including Arch Manning. So, I think the Arch Manning stuff's legit. Like, he got a lot better as the year went on. Let's acknowledge that. But it's not to say that Marcel did not regress. Marcel played a couple of really freaking tough defenses at the end of the year. The running game became non-existent, and the whole operation kind of failed. It wasn't just him. It was the defenses were better than the A&M offense. And he plays a big part in that, but so did the blocking. So did the O-line. So did the running game. And so I just think people are forgetting like how he played in Baton Rouge at night when LSU was a top 15 team. How he played on the road at Missouri. Okay, hit me with the third string quarterback thing. Go ahead, like throw that at me. All right, well, what about managing the game against a really damn good SEC defense? Go look at the rankings, go look at where they stood, and go compare how Marcel played against Missouri on the road compared to how every other quarterback that mattered last year played against Missouri. And I'm talking about guys like Mateer, guys like Ty Simpson, I believe Chambliss as well. But like, go look at how those quarterbacks played against Missouri versus what Marcel did. And again, like I'm just pointing out, like these good games people forget. And it's a terrible half against South Carolina was followed by one of the best halves of football quarterbacks played all year last year. And I don't care who you are. It was one of the best halves of football by a quarterback in college. So he had a lot of moments, Arkansas included. He had a really, really damn good year. The last couple games kept it from being great. But I think not having that low in the SEC is more like a guess than it is like based on what these guys have done.
Billy, we're going to have about 3 minutes on the other side. Do you want to do the 3 minutes or call it a day?
Go ahead. Hit me with whatever you got in 3 minutes, Nuno. I'll be ready.
All right. We'll be back here on TexAgs Live. I wish I had Olin here for it because he loves energy drinks. Catalyst Citrus Spark. This is one of the new flavors out there. Whether you're grinding through workouts, cramming for a test, or closing in on a deal, or getting ready for TexAgs Live, you never know, right? Fast becoming the go-to fuel for Aggies everywhere. Zero sugar. I'm all in for that. Or synthetic sweeteners, no artificial colors or flavors. Catalyst delivers clean, high-performance energy with smooth, crisp taste that is never syrupy, designed for both health and hustle. You want to get going? You use this Catalyst right here. It's about pure energy and pure results. And what sets them apart? Packed with premium nootropics blended to boost focus, clarity, and mental stamina. I need this. I'm in, guys. I'm in. Plus, with plant-based caffeine, vitamin B12, B6, Catalyst supports metabolism and energy production, making it more than a drink. It's your lifestyle training partner. Built for competitors on the field, Catalyst fuels strength, focus, and pure results. Buy now at drinkcatalyst.com. That is drinkcatalyst.com. Train harder, think sharper, pure results. It's Catalyst. We're back here on TexAgs Live. We go back to the Buppy's Catering and Bartending Hotline. Billy, actually about 3.5 minutes left. I believe your Captain's Luncheon video is coming out today. Just some thoughts about that, what people can expect.
I don't know, man. It was really one of the more fun ones, I think, that we've done, that I've been a part of. Just so many different personalities there. Like the contrast of like Marcel to like a Damian Sanford, and then Michael Riley over to, Dalton Brooks, kind of in between there. I just thought the whole group was really, really good. Ratcliffe, Marcus is pretty quiet, but also when he talks, it's like a lot of substance there behind it. You can tell that Michael Riley, like, for people that wonder, like, well, he's part of the rotation at tight end, and it's not like a glamour position, and he's a transfer. And I think people are going to come away from that video going, okay, I get it. I see what this guy means to this locker room and this culture. Also, he kind of sounded like he's like really like almost like liaison between players and coaches when they have something that they want to really talk to the coaches about. It's like, let's get Micah, because he knows how to broach it with them better than anybody. Like, so, and then you just get a little more of a glimpse into Marcel. I felt like more of Marcel's interesting because he'll come on with me. It's a little more serious, but you see him with his teammates and you realize that he's still a young guy that has fun and likes to joke around and have fun. But then even in that interview, he goes back between that and being serious. It's just really good stuff from them. And all I was there to do was kind of keep the train going and keep the conversation moving while we all enjoyed some great food at Republic. So shout out Wade and the crew over there. Shout out Aggie football for allowing us, to have that kind of access, and the guys for making it happen. I think everybody's going to really enjoy it.
Billy, great stuff, buddy. Thanks so much. Talk to you later on this week. Thank you. The great Billy Liucci. See, there was a back and forth there on the program. All right, that's going to do it for TexAgs Live here on a Monday. Tomorrow on the program. He doesn't know it yet, but I think Connor O'Gara will probably be on the show. We might get Phil Steele on the show tomorrow. And Kin Mas. Anybody else that we normally? It's Tuesday, summer, so like we just spending for, we'll figure it out. Thank you so much to everybody for watching and listening. You're going to have 30 seconds of music because I'm tapped out. That's TexAgs Live. We'll see you next time.